KBL. Russ Clark with you. James here. It's Wednesday.
Yes, I'm glad to be here too.
It's
Lots going on.
It's a hump day. At that.
Yes.
It is a lot going on. I know where I was. Okay. I look at this all morning. I get here a little earlier because
Yeah, I know to pick up your time.
I know you're coming in. And I'll stop reading. Trump was in Iowa. Now he has started on his kickoff for the upcoming campaign.
Good.
He's going to be out there barnstorming.
Yeah, well, he almost has to. I mean, it's imperative that we keep the House.
Yeah.
And because if we don't, nothing will get done if the Democrats take the House. They will permit nothing but investigations and impeachments.
Oh, they've already said that.
Yes.
I mean, they promised it.
Right.
That Trump's Hitler, so we need to have impeachments daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But he was in Iowa and he got stopped by a guy in a restaurant, a machine shed restaurant. Sounds like some backwoods.
Well, it sounds
nice restaurant.
Sounds
local.
Like it'd probably be interesting.
It's local.
Might be a place I'd go to.
Oh man, I'd be there. But anyway, the man stopped him. And the house aide, Margot Martin, took a video of the interaction. But the man asked him, "Can I pray for you real quick?" I think that's a good start.
Interesting start, yeah.
That's a good start. So Trump said, "Absolutely, come on, let's go." About his head, and the man said, "Lord, give." I'm sorry, Lord God, we give thanks for this president. Lord, thank you for him and the potential. Thank you for your continued wisdom. We pray for discernment, pray for hope. We pray for more peace, Lord. Amen.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And the whole restaurant joined in.
Oh, wow.
With the amen.
Amen.
Like
okay.
Yeah. The amen. Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good start.
It's pretty close. I say a prayer pretty close to that almost every night.
It's better than what Omar had, having that chemical thrown on her, whatever that was. That happened yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, so I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Omar was, in fact, I'll get to that. She's here somewhere in this pile.
Well, it's pretty impressive that President Trump would allow somebody to get that close to him. I mean, Secret Service had to be all around. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been in serious danger.
Yes, big time. And but he's going to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I think he's got the right guys around him now.
I think so. It makes a big difference.
Right. I mean, he's got the top tier,
right?
Not the 5'2" tier of women that can't find their holsters.
The A team.
Yeah.
He's got the top team.
And he's got people that you don't know.
Right.
Probably had people working in the restaurant.
Maybe, or it's not impossible, very plausible.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
When you have people that are really, really good at their job, they think of things like that.
Sure. Well, Omar, though, she was at a town hall in Minnesota on Tuesday. And she wants Kristi Noem impeached. That's got to be done. It's exactly what you would expect from the left. The ICE agents are murderers and jackbooted thugs and Nazis and criminals, and we need them all out. We need to disband ICE. We need to fire, impeach Kristi.
That's the game plan.
Yeah. And it's saying that ICE agents have committed murder. They break into your homes and just a bunch of silliness. Somebody came, it was a small crowd. It wasn't very big. It was a typical small town hall.
Yeah.
Which I think all the politicians had do those. But Trump does them with 40,000. That's unusual.
So where was this?
Minnesota.
Okay. It's in Minnesota. Oh,
well, that's where she is. That's her hometown. So
right.
She's out.
Yeah, I just didn't know. So
she's out there. So some man that was setting up in front walked up and sprayed some chemical on her with a syringe, which was unusual. Unusual to do that. And obviously, and I don't know his name. It's not in this article. I mean, they mentioned it on some of the other stuff.
I suspect he was arrested.
Right. Omar had
that's an assault.
Oh, big time. Oh, and it's unacceptable.
Right.
But she had a bodyguard there that immediately tackled him. Looked like somebody about 6'6" or something. Something.
The bodyguard or the
The
person?
bodyguard.
Okay.
Yeah, the bodyguard looked pretty big.
I mean, I don't. I let me make clear. I don't think people should do that.
No,
That's a bad thing. People should not spray some unknown substance on public officials.
But they don't know what it was.
Exactly.
She doesn't know what it was. People have commented around it was a real foul odor, and it may have been just something foul smelling just to be mean.
Right.
Who knows? But she stayed, and she said, "Please don't let them have the show." And somebody was yelling, "It's foul smelling," and she says, "We will continue. These lanky a-holes are not going to get away with this. Here's reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us." But I'm thinking, like, she just had this sprayed on. We don't know if it's acid. We don't know what. I think I would have had a clean up pretty quickly,
I got to
and
give her.
then come back.
She, I don't know what she was wearing or how much contact she might have with this stuff or whatever. But I recall back around, when Teddy Roosevelt was running for president, after he'd been president, as I recall. Yeah, and I think it was in Chicago, and he got shot. And he had serious injury, and he just kept doing his speech for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, before he had a bullet removed.
Yeah.
That's just nuts. Let's say phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gary Garcia Snyder.
Mr. Gary, how are you, man? I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still in D.C.?
No, I made it back, luckily.
Okay, you made it through the snow and everything else.
You sound like you might be on the road somewhere.
He's got windshield time.
I'm headed up Phoenix to the Capitol for a few meetings and a few conservative talks.
Excellent. Now, who are you meeting with? I don't even know what organization you're with right now.
Me, my individual self, as a candidate.
Oh, you just went up there as a candidate? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, I want to respond to what you're bringing up regarding the incident that happened in Minnesota. So I watched it last night. Obviously, you'll have the Democratic side, fake news, you'll have the AIs, and you'll have the Republican conservative videos. And if you just pay attention to the videos from the Republican side and the Democratic side and kind of the independent, they focus on that gentleman for about 3 minutes total before she jumped up and went straight to her. And she was paying attention straight to him. Notice when he sprayed, he didn't raise his hand higher to hit her in the face or anything. He just sprayed like
her blouse. Yeah, her sweater.
And she ran towards him at the same time. So a lot of people can construe that as, obviously it's a fake, it's set up. Do I condone that type of violence? No, I do not condone that.
So,
but if you check out other sites, there's pictures of her and him together with her giving him.
No.
Well, that's interesting.
I really would want to check that out.
It sounds a little too convenient.
It does.
As I said, it's good to check if it's convenient or AI. There's a lot of pictures there already with him and her together in different events.
Yeah, but look, this guy's facing arrest, but maybe not. Maybe they're not pressing charges. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about what happened to him. They finally mentioned his name.
Well, false flag events are not unknown, so it's not impossible.
Well, Gary, I guess we'll watch and see if he does get arrested. If he gets arrested, if he doesn't get arrested, then it's real suspect.
Yeah.
That is correct. Like I said, it's always good to look on every side of the chatter, because you never know what the real truth is until you see it.
We can't trust now.
Yeah, it's really getting hard even to trust video because there's so many AI fakes out there.
Correct.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And regarding Trump and Iowa, that's awesome. He's going to have to be busy all over the place, obviously, to keep the House, but most importantly, take out some of these Republicans that voted against him and say the act. So that's why he's campaigning to put in his endorsees to overtake some of these Republicans.
Yeah, I imagine some of that's going to be going on. I don't have a list of who he's doing that to, but that'd be an interesting list to get. But it's dangerous, you could lose a seat doing that stuff.
That is correct. Depending on which area it is, what congressional district it is, and the outfit. Plus right now, I'm not sure if you talked about it, but throughout the whole United States, from congressional to Senate to local races, you got individuals that are moderate Democrats switching parties just to run in Republican primaries.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's been on for years. I mean, it's happened probably more now, but yeah.
Yeah, right now it's happening very big. Obviously, they're not quiet about it. They're enjoying doing that. So it's putting a lot of stress on local Republican parties and state parties because what do we do? Once they're on the ballot, they're on the ballot. How do we forecast something like that?
Well, you can't stop it. But
that is correct.
But as a party, we can handle those individually. If we suspect something is completely fake, people can change all the time. I mean, I was a Democrat at one time and all that. But we need to sort through that before we start throwing money behind a Democrat that's just trying to hurt the process.
That is correct.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
All right, well, I'll let you gentlemen
all right, buddy.
get back to work.
Thank you.
I'll be listening and enjoying myself on our drive up.
Thank you, sir. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
As Gary Snyder, I haven't heard from him in a long time.
It's an interesting thought that it might have been
set up. It looked a little. It looked a little too casual as far as Omar not being afraid of what the chemical is or whatever. She just went back.
And
I thought that was odd.
She didn't try to. Did she try to shield herself or turn away?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. She kind of faced the guy, and that guy sprayed her. I mean, she looked like she was not happy about it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
well, I think it's hard to do this, to do a false flag and get away with it now.
Well,
it's much harder.
This guy didn't. I mean, he didn't look like a real convincing thug. But he said something to the point that we should impeach you or something. But it wasn't anything real. Like, some people are so mad. I mean, a lot of times the emotion is really heightened before they do that. He didn't seem that heightened in emotion. It just seemed casual. But you don't know. I don't know him.
I don't know. We don't know him. We don't know his background. We don't. We don't know much.
He got tackled right away. But I never saw any police report or anything like he was arrested or any comments that he's arrested or whatever. I don't think so. Might be in this, but I don't.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally on. It just happened yesterday. But that would be interesting if it was a.
Well, we know that
Jesse Smollett set up.
Yeah, I mean, and we had that situation in Wisconsin. I think it's a couple campaigns ago where I think. Veritas was able to get Democratic operatives to say how they put in false flag operations to do stuff to try to bait people into saying and doing things that were damaging to the Republican Party.
But I thought it was awfully odd that this guy used a syringe.
Syringe is kind of weird.
But it's very.
You can conceal it.
And really, she just sprayed it in her chest area, in her on her sweater, not in her face or anything like that. So,
well, of course, it's always possible.
So
just incompetence or bad aim or whatever.
That's going to open up questions, like what Gary just said.
A syringe just doesn't hold very much usually.
No,
you get different sizes, of course. There's some veterinary syringes that hold a lot.
It didn't look like a very big one. It was hard to see, but we're going to find out more. But she got up and says, "Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It's important to me to continue to lead my Democratic colleagues in demanding Noam's resignation." So I don't know. Is she trying to have a fight moment, like Trump got shot in the ear?
Well, it could be. We just don't know yet.
I was surprised she didn't disappear. Go make sure she's safe from that chemical, whatever that chemical was.
See, that's true. I mean, if you get something, if it was acid or something, it could cause some significant injury.
You would notice it right well until your clothes started melting.
Well, I think I mentioned one time that as a teenager, I made an electrolysis apparatus that blew up, and I got acid all over me, and even in spite, washing everything right away and getting water, to dilute it, get rid of it all. very quickly, the next day, my clothes started falling apart.
Right. It'll break that down pretty quick.
But she didn't. So, acid you can feel it burning pretty quick, I think. But
I don't know.
so, I hear these reports of like in London where people have acid thrown in their face,
Yeah, because they can't carry guns.
well, it's probably one reason. And it has a serious, horrible, permanent injury. So, I don't know. Maybe either she's just wasn't concerned or possibly knew something we don't.
I'm going to add something to Gary's conspiracy theory because this makes more sense if Gary's right.
Okay.
And let me preface it by first saying that, Trump had a talk with Waltz. Trump had a talk with Frey.
Right.
And after that, from what I understand now, the governor has agreed to allow the police to do more to help with ICE, including hand over criminals, which I haven't gotten any confirmation on, but I've read that. I've read those things, and but I'm thinking that is such a flip for these guys.
Yeah,
they've
it's a
been
tremendous flip.
Well, almost in this speech after she got sprayed said, one thing that ICE has succeeded in doing is making Minneapolis residents love Minneapolis police. And a woman in the crowd asked what Minneapolis residents can do to help police department. That's the only thing they've succeeded in doing. And so now we got people yelling, what can we do to help the police department? And England saying, now we love our police. And the police are actually starting to break up. In fact, they just arrested a bunch of people that were rioting outside a hotel
against
ICE
ICE
that they thought ICE agents were in.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it was like 15. I don't know either.
I don't know. You get these Byzantine complexities, and it's very hard to figure out who's on what side.
Omar says in this speech that Republican colleagues in Congress, you need to grow a backbone and pass Congress war powers resolution, take power away from Trump, basically.
Yeah.
And she discussed what she knew about ICE officials potentially leaving Minneapolis. She saw reporting that 100 are leaving or left. Now, is that because of that phone call?
I don't know.
And you and I speculated on that before, and we'd love to know what Trump talked about.
Right. That would be fun to know.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
She ain't no Teddy Roosevelt.
No, she didn't take a bullet.
I'm pretty sure that syringe was full of pig urine.
I hope not. That's disgusting.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
She's disgusting. She's a blight on this country's.
Maybe, but she shouldn't be attacked, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, we'll just
I don't think so.
We'll attack her on ideas, not physically.
No, they got a serious problem going on here, Russ, and we need to straighten out our politics here.
Yeah.
Instead of all this performative arts and all that's going on, we need to stick to the policies. And the policies are we're doing pretty good.
Sure.
And the Democrats have nothing.
But it's not being portrayed that we're doing pretty good. I mean, it's being portrayed that Trump's insane and needs to be impeached, or needs mental help or something. I mean, just crazy stuff coming out.
Right.
I know. I'm sure there's plenty of people say you and I are crazy, but they're not psychologists, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Psychologists have a high rate of problems themselves.
Yeah.
Dean, just like lawyers, they're just drunk. They're just drunk.
Maybe. Yeah.
I met many of lawyers in Virginia, and I'm going to tell you right now, 80% of them had alcohol abuse problems.
Wow. So
80%.
All right,
there we are.
I appreciate the call, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Well, to go on with Omar's speech, he says 800 have already left, which is curious because that hasn't been written up anywhere. It's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't.
And she also discussed how local police are supposed to adhere to federal immigration detainers. She's not fighting it. She's not saying we're not going to do it. She says we're supposed to do it. And she described the police as akin to basically turning them over in the parking lot. In other words, turning criminals over in the parking lot to ICE agents.
And she's not complaining about it.
No. She says we love our police. Now, how did this happen? How did this switch get flipped?
Yeah. That's
It,
odd.
it makes
It's
me
not what I would suspect.
no,
I mean, it's not what I would expect, I should say.
no. And
So it makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
even got Waltz that came out and said, yeah, it was a good discussion with Donald Trump. Now, when has he ever said anything like that? Anything good in Donald Trump in the same sentence?
I like, we would have.
So,
I'd like to know what they said in the come on conversation.
so has Minnesota decided to stop being sanctuary-like in this?
That's a good question.
Because look, if the police are going to cooperate with ICE, they probably don't need the 800.
Right, exactly. I mean,
because they're there to protect the ICE doing their job.
right.
And it'd be better if the police cracked down. There wouldn't be a problem because those things would break up pretty quickly.
Well, and the police can be a buffer between
Yeah.
the federal agents and these protesters who
See,
are trying to
we don't have
disrupt everything.
we don't have problems in active states like Texas, which has had 10 times the number of arrests from ICE, 10 times.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything like this, and that's because local authorities are assisting, and the protesters and agitators know that, and they're not going to stick their necks out.
Yes, we've seen that.
Yeah.
We saw that in the George Floyd riots.
Oh yeah, where some towns went crazy, and
Right.
because the mayors and also
Because
well, we
all
just
the
got to let them
protesters.
riot. That was in
That's right.
Baltimore. That was in Baltimore.
Yeah, well, I think
Sometimes you just got to let them riot.
Yeah, I think
And they took over the police.
Portland, Oregon,
Took over the police stations, burned them. And it was crazy.
Minnesota, they burned a police station. Yeah,
But it was governments that let it happen.
yeah, exactly.
They didn't
So,
shut it down.
correct.
So wow, this has become more interesting now with Omar spilling the beans on 800 leaving. I didn't read a headline on that. That would be a headline.
Yeah. How about the attorney general there? I think it's very far.
Ellis.
Yeah. Ellis. Yeah.
It might be
Keith
Ellison Ellis. Yeah.
I mean, he's
This
very far
snake.
left.
Oh my gosh, he's terrible.
So I mean, if he comes out with a statement of course the police cooperate with ICE, it's their job to do so, it would be really different if that happened.
Yeah, and Omar explains why illegals are in the country and may came in illegals. He says people talk a lot about illegal immigration and criminals, but what this enforcement has truly done is frighten actual citizens and documented neighbors. The children that are afraid to go to school, the mothers and fathers that are afraid to drop them off, the elderly shop owners, they're all citizens, which not true, but okay.
Right.
But they don't want the trauma of seeing men with heavy machine guns because that is what they escaped to come to the United States. They don't want to go through the checkpoint because that is what they escaped to come to the United States. They didn't even come to a point coming to the United States. They went around the checkpoint.
A lot of them, right?
Yeah.
But in their countries, she might be referring to.
Oh, I know, but I'm related to
Okay.
yeah, they don't like checkpoints enough to where they didn't come to our checkpoints. They broke in illegally. They don't want a gun draw on them asking for their identification because that's what they escaped to come to the United States. I mean, I don't think that's what happens. I mean, Border Patrol doesn't walk up, pull a gun out, and say, "Give me your identification."
No.
But that's what they try to pass off.
And in a complex situation with hundreds of thousands of incidents, there are going to be things that require an agent to pull out a gun.
Yep.
I mean, I've talked to enough of them that you get a whole gamut of situations from extremely dangerous to extremely routine.
Mhm.
And the people who are opposed to Trump are going to look for and cherry pick incidents to try to demonize it.
Of course.
And that's what's happening.
Of course, because look at this one thing. This which is a bad thing. This gentleman lost his life.
Right.
Pretty lost his life, and that flipped the whole discussion on whether or not we're going to have a government shutdown. That one thing, and those agencies that run gambling on whether or not the government will shut down.
Right. Right.
It went from a 9% chance of shutting down to a 70% chance over that issue.
Right.
So yeah, they take out single issues in order to slay emotion and opinion.
It's part of the strategy. I just don't think they have as much ability to control the narrative as they used to. And so we have so much independent citizen journalism out there now that you can have people on the internet looking very carefully and trying to understand exactly what happened in the Freddie incident, and then they find out it almost certainly was an accidental or an unintentional discharge, which triggered the gunfire.
Yeah.
And of course, he continued to resist and fight the
Yeah,
officer.
he was breaking laws. I mean, right.
If he would have complied with what the officers told him to do, he wouldn't have been killed.
And again, him carrying a gun was not like breaking law.
No,
he's entitled to carry a gun.
Yes, but it turned out the Minnesota law, he didn't have the proper ID and permit with him.
Right. But that's not.
I mean, that's against the law in Minnesota.
Right, but you're not going to get shot over it.
Right, you wouldn't think so.
But
if you start fighting with the officers, you know,
that's the only thing.
that's the problem.
It's not that he was carrying a gun. It was the fact that he attacked an officer, assaulted
an officer.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was impeding the ICE operation.
Yes, and then resisting arrest.
Right,
and all that stuff. And then they found the gun, which
they found it during as they're trying to subdue him.
Right.
It was this violent scrum, 3 or 4 officers trying to, get him under control,
Right.
and he's resisting. And then they see the gun, which apparently was in the small of his back or close to there.
Right.
And then one officer reaches in. It appears that one officer reaches in and gets the gun while I'm not sure if him or others are yelling something to the effect of gun, gun, gun. And then he pulls the gun out and turns and starts to step away with the gun pointed mostly toward the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears that that's when that particular gun, a P320 SIG, discharged.
With him carrying the gun is acceptable. He was licensed.
He was
legal. Other
right.
than he wasn't
you have a right
it.
to carry.
But you can't attack an officer.
Well, that's it. I mean, you have a right to carry. It doesn't give you a right to commit murder. It doesn't give you a right to rob a bank. It doesn't give you a right
and if you attack an officer white armed, it escalates things pretty quickly.
Well, yes. And officers are trained when they find a firearm on a subject, especially if they're resisting, that's when they yell to alert other officers, gun, gun,
and they want to disarm right away.
Of course, because they don't want you to have access to that weapon while they're trying to get you under control.
Right. Unfortunately, this one went south.
It went very bad.
We'll be right back. AM 560.
The seasonably mild weather continues. We'll get into the low 80s starting this weekend. Today, partly cloudy and 76. North winds at 10 to 15, 55 tonight. For tomorrow, partly cloudy and 78. Windy again, clear and 51 tomorrow night. And then Friday, sunshine and 80.
Truckmates, Yuma's Fix Up Your Pickup Truck Store is Yuma's home for snug top shells and lids. Snug top, designed and manufactured to the highest standard, industry-leading quality and trend design to protect and complement your vehicle. That's Snug Top. Truckmates is also the home of Expert Spray and Bed Liners, spraying mil-spec protected coatings, committed to unwavering excellent and unparalleled customer service. Expert Liners, with available national warranty coverage and installed by Yuma's most experienced spray-on team at Truckmates. Truckmates is also the home for BDS suspensions, the highest quality aftermarket suspension lift kits, leveling kits, and accessories for 4x4 off-road trucks and Jeep enthusiasts. And don't forget 3M window tinting, the originators of window tinting with nationwide lifetime warranty at Truckmates. That's Expert Spray and Bed Liners, BDS suspensions, 3M window tinting, and Snug Top all at Truckmates, 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
There's a man in D.C. He stands at 3. He's fighting for you.
AM 560 KPLU, Russ Clark with you. Dean's here.
Glad to be here.
Phone lines are open, 928-344-5258. Let me see. Tom Tillis, Republican of North Carolina, and Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican out of Alaska, are asking for Kristi Noem's resignation. She's got to go.
I think President Trump said no. She's doing a good job.
I know,
I
but
mean, I don't know if he said it, but apparently she made some.
She did say it. He had
some remarks that were improper, not well thought out.
Yeah.
And okay, but then I don't think, even though it's very high level, Trump believes, and I think she is doing overall a very good job. So she made some impulsive remarks that she shouldn't have, and get spanked a little bit.
But now we're going into signing off on the rest of the budget, which was supposed to be a slam dunk. Pretty much, it was a very slight chance of any kind of government
Right.
shutdown after the last one. Now, because of this thing going on in Minneapolis, and I think Lisa and Tom Tillis coming forward like this just is going to add more turmoil and possibility of a government shutdown.
I think you're right. I think that's good analysis, and I think are both of them, are they coming up for election? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think Murkowski is. I don't know about Tillis. I don't know.
Yeah.
They might be, but I don't know. I don't know how that gains him favor.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to think. Is what do they gain out of this?
Tom Tillis says, I think the president needs to look at who he has in place as a Secretary of Homeland Security. I would not support her again, and I think it probably is time to for her to step down. I know this. There was a shooting, two of them, two fatal shootings, and he thinks Noam's leadership is responsible for that.
To me, it looks like just an attempt to try to weaken the Trump administration.
I wouldn't think Tillis would want to do that, or maybe Murkowski. I don't know.
I mean, or you can be more cynical, Machiavellian, saying he's trying to show his bona fides as a moderate.
Trump says the border is totally secure, and you forget we had a border that I inherited where millions of people were coming through. Now we have a border with no one coming through, and said that Noam's doing a very good job.
Yeah.
So it does work, and I don't. I mean, Iorcus before Noam was horrible.
Oh,
how come
gosh.
Tillis wasn't talking about it then?
Good question. Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
Mayorkas got in front of the Congress every day and lied about the border is secure.
Right.
At the same time, record numbers just invading us.
Right.
Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, fine people.
Good morning, Carl.
Is this Wednesday?
It is hump day, man.
All right. That's one of my happy days. I'm getting close to Friday.
Right.
My 2 cents for today is I think President Trump is doing a very good job. And what we are seeing with the Democrats is a good Salalinski rules for radicals. President Trump is trying to go by the Constitution of the United States, and the Democrats are Salalinski rules for radicals.
The left right now's job, or as they see their job, is to thwart Trump at any move, make it chaos, make it not work. And you got to hand it to them. They throw a lot of wrenches in the fire. It's.
Well, yeah. What is wrong with getting somebody that is out raping our children, beating up on our old people like me, and then taking my money and going buying new cars and stuff with it and enjoying life and not having to work and just stealing from the people of the United States?
I think
the Democrats are doing.
You're talking about the fraud that we know about in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Yeah.
So I don't understand why these people, the Democrats, are so excited about fighting President Trump, because he's just saying, we the people should not have to pay corruption going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's getting sorted out. We've got people in there researching that right now. I think they cut it off, didn't they? They cut it off the payments until they vet what's going on.
I know that there was, at least they were talking about cutting it off, and then there were some people claiming that they should use the judicial system, say they can't cut it off. So I don't know where it is right now. I don't know if the funds have been cut off or not.
Well, what happened in Yuma, Arizona, on the food stamps, I know people that were on it, and they were cut off. Now they got to go back and reapply.
Oh, yeah.
Requalify for food stamps, which is the way it should be. If a person really needs food stamps and they need to feed their children, it's fine with me. But I don't want to keep them from living in Mexico. Hell, I don't even want to teach, educate the children to live in Mexico, and I do that,
Yeah.
and you do too, Russ.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Dean, I think you're paying for it also.
Probably.
Article I'm looking at right now says President Trump cutting federal funding to Minnesota starting February 1st.
Well, he said.
That's probably the part of the conversation they had with Tim Walz.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, I would. You know,
We don't know what they said.
you know, if you were working, if somebody's paying you money and he asked you to do something, if you don't want to do it, why should he have to pay you any money?
Yes, and that's the exact situation with federal money coming to the states. That's why the federal government can put strings on it. So you have to do this, you have to do that.
Yep. They'll give you your money back
Yeah,
with these strings.
If you give me
Right.
half of it,
Yeah.
that's what the Democrats are doing. They're getting some of this money. They're taking from you and I, and they're giving it to people, and then those people are giving them probably half of it back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the rates I'm seeing that they're willing to take a much lower cut.
Yeah, but I guess when you get $2 or $3 billion, what is
Yeah.
a low cut? How
Right.
dollars
Only
is
a few
that?
million,
Yeah, well, I'll give you $3 billion. You give me a couple million.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I hope we get to the bottom and all that gets straightened out and people who did it end up in jail, or maybe we can even claw some of the money back.
Hope so.
Well,
If we can find it in Somalia.
Yeah.
well, that's the problem. That's the problem with scams in the United States. Once people tag your account, and that money's gone, they can't find it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Am I right? That's
You're
what
correct. And I
Yeah.
think at some point, and we have so many problems we're fighting right now that the Trump administration is trying to rectify, but eventually the U.S. government will start taking all this fraud that is occurring and where people are scammed and the money goes overseas seriously. I think if the government in the U.S. sees that as a major problem, they could stop a lot of it.
They could stop all of it.
No, it's hard, it's not.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's not. I think they can stop a lot, maybe most of it even.
Well, when you transfer so much money out of the United States, that props a flag up with the government.
Yes.
Anytime you go want to buy anything, if you pay, I don't know what the number is, but I'm saying if you give them 10,000 cash, the government, Uncle Sam's going to know. He's going to want to know where you get that 10,000.
Yeah, within the U.S., but that doesn't
That's
apply.
right.
And you can take, if you want to take $250,000 or $1 million out of the U.S. unemployment, as long as you declare it, it's not illegal to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. It is declared, and the government's going to want to know where did you get that $1 million?
Well, that's the IRS that goes after it. It's hard to do in
Yeah.
Somalia.
Right.
I know. And that's and why would anybody want to put a suitcase full of $1 million and get on an airplane?
Well, I could see the advantage of that.
And give me $1 million in a suitcase, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Well, let me know when you get it, and I'll go with you then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's happening now in Somalia. Found out giving all this free stuff away, and hell, let's go to
Well,
the
it's
United
it's fraud. You got to remember, we're not giving. They're
States.
stealing.
I'm
I know, but
saying.
I want to use a word other than
taking
give
all
away.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're giving away. We're giving away our money so we can let our politicians steal it and give it to people that don't need it.
Right. We're looking the other way while they steal it, and
think
that's
that's-
the investigation
Yes.
right now.
Correct.
And you the business,
Yep.
you have to watch your business to make sure too much stuff doesn't go out the door.
I'm thinking about opening a daycare.
Hey, you hear there's big money in it.
There's big money.
Can I help?
Yeah. Right.
You're bringing cash? I'll help more.
There you go.
Anyway,
All right, buddy.
you guys have a good
Take
day.
care.
Bye.
I was reading this article about the money being held, and Trump, and this article's after the Good was killed,
Okay.
but before this one. He says it's a great state. Talk about Minnesota. It's getting destroyed by that stupid governor. What a stupid guy he is. He's a crook. He's an incompetent governor. He's a crook. He allowed this. You can't have corruption on a scale that nobody's ever seen before. You're a setting as governor, and you don't know what's going on. It's impossible.
Ah,
Wow.
yeah,
He's not. You don't have to try to guess what he's trying to tell us here.
yeah, I think so.
It's pretty straightforward.
I think what it looks like is that the Minnesota government and trade, they're just not competent at all the corruption.
No.
They weren't able to hide it very well.
Yeah,
I mean, in Chicago, they do better
they,
or worse, depending on how you look at it.
I guess they saw how easy it was, and I'm talking the entire
Yeah,
community.
nobody was following up.
And it just escalated. It's
Right.
like everybody can do it, and then it turns into billions of dollars and these huge increases, and still nobody saw it, or they saw it. There were whistleblowers and all kinds of stuff.
But nobody was enforcing.
Nobody.
Then it just, if I can get $20 million for just opening up a daycare or $1 million each for 20 daycares, they open up post office boxes in the same mall, well, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, a lot of these daycares had no furniture. They had
Well, and
no
all
playground.
that's being investigated, and
Well,
it's so. I mean, if you watch the investigative videos where they show that there's supposed to be a daycare here, there's supposed to be a mobile operation here, and there's nothing there.
It's the responsibility of the state to inspect them, and according to one of the state representatives from Minnesota, said, "Oh, we check them every 6 months physically, so it can happen." And well, if they're checking, how could they not see no playground equipment, which is a requirement?
Right.
They didn't have operating hours that were
I
6 to
recall
6.
a term from when I was in my early days in the Army, where they called it the M16 pencil, and where if somebody didn't actually shoot a good score, the scorekeeper made it a good score.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they call it the M16 pencil, because the pencil would make the score.
So I could have made sure.
Yeah, I think it might have happened. I did not like it. I didn't think it was a good idea, but I can say that was scuttlebutt that was going around.
Yeah, and maybe it's true. I need to take a break. I'll be right back.
All right, do-it-yourselfer, you've got the idea, and you got your building supplies at Southwest Lumber.
That's right.
Now, all you need is a bunch of expensive tools to get the job done.
Oh, that's right.
And just the place to rent them. Southwest Lumber, your home for everything home improvement. Southwest Lumber has half-day to multiple-day rentals available on just about anything you need to finish the job. Rent equipment and tools on Saturday and Sunday. It's free. Stop in today at 1917 South Avenue B in Yuma. Southwest Lumber, ready for everything.
To be a part of Russ's show, call 928-344-5258. That's 928-344-5258.
The most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file 100% accuracy for your maximum rate. Guaranteed. Tax Slayer even has support from real U.S. humans if you have any questions along the way. File your federal return by February 8th, $22.99. I'll help you get the refund you deserve. Take it from me, a talking calculator speaking to you through the speakers of wherever you are. Tax Slayer, file for.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Hey, I'm glad to give you. You Russ Clark with you, Dean's here.
Glad to be here.
It's already 6:48, and time is flying. Part of this article I was reading about, these two Republicans that want to have Kristi Noem out of her job, resign, get rid of her, fire her. Tilla says, I don't know if it's lost yet, but it's an opportunity lost. I put it squarely on the shoulders of people like Noem and Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Those two people told the president before they had any incident report whatsoever that the person who died was a terrorist. I mean, that is amateur hour at its worst. I don't know why he's doing that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's accurate.
Well, it might be, and I don't know. I mean, they both said things that I thought was unfortunate.
Imprudent.
Yeah,
Yes.
that they needed to tone it down a little bit, but for him to go off that the people need to be fired now and all. Murkowski said, "I think you have a secretary right now who needs to be accountable to the chaos and some of the tragedy that we have seen." Is Murkowski aware that we've got these groups run by who knows who, money they're being
Far left.
paid,
Yes.
far left being in there to get in the way, thwart, to confuse, to cause chaos. And ICE agents aren't causing chaos.
I don't
Look-
know. I mean, maybe
look-
she only reads the New York Times.
Look how they're performing in Texas.
Yes.
10 times the arrest with no problems because they've got a cooperative community.
Yeah.
So they place no blame on Minnesota whatsoever.
Well, you're saying
Murkowski.
Tillis and Murkowski particularly. Yeah, I agree. It's disingenuous.
Now, one of the reporters asked, Tillis should no be removed from her position. He said 100%. But he stopped short of saying having her impeached. I'm not going to get into impeachment. I think that should be a management decision. She needs to go. Well, maybe we can bring Mayorkas back.
You compare the administrations, and the previous administration did things that were much worse, in my opinion. I mean, yes, I would say Norm and Stephen Miller spoke a little impetuously, and they said things that they shouldn't have. But I wouldn't say they were offenses they should lose their job over. They should be corrected and say, consider your words a little more carefully.
Right. But I think something's going on in Minnesota, and we don't know. But we know all of a sudden that the police force has cooperated with the ICE and has gone to a riot out in front of that hotel and arrested people. That's the first time I've seen that happen.
I mean, since Walsh and Frey basically said oppose federal agents.
Yeah, they've just been letting the chaos go. The ICE jumped.
They've been encouraging it,
and the police jumped in and shut it down.
Yeah,
in front of that, which is like cool. And then you got Omar saying that we love our police now, and the police is going to take the criminals and let the ICE turn them over in a parking lot. And 800 ICE officers left. Now, where did she get all that information? Because I haven't read that anywhere. I just read it from her.
Yeah,
her statements on it. But we know that Trump and Walsh had a very good conversation,
right? So
according to both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the president coming out, but you informed me that Governor Walsh said it was good too.
He's made the same comments, and so was the mayor, Frey.
Frey too.
And they both met with Tom Holman already.
Okay. Well, this all looks positive to me.
It's got a great potential. I hate to start counting my chickens.
Yeah. Well,
I think it all looks in the right direction.
Right. I mean, it has a sort of Paul on the way to Damascus feel to it. Like all of a sudden they turned 180 degrees.
Something had to scare them though.
Well, something
they didn't change their ideology overnight because of one phone call. There had to be an art of the deal somewhere.
Well, I'm figuring there may well be. That was my first thought too. That President Trump has been able to exert influence, and his famous ability to convince people that a deal can benefit everybody.
We talked up there a little bit about some of the deals he made with combatants and like overseas at Afghanistan or whatever, where he actually would throw a picture of the guy's house on the table and tell him that it's going to be bombed.
Well, that's in a war zone where we're, actually at war. It's a little different. I doubt if he threw a picture of Governor Walsh's house, but he might have hinted at certain investigations or something, or maybe outright. Who knows?
Right. He's brutal. I mean,
he's direct.
He's very direct,
and he's effective.
Right.
And
I don't know.
He has a reputation of you can't depend on him following precedent just because it's there. He's going to do what he thinks works.
But let me ask you your acceptance level. Let's say that Trump called Waltz and said, "Look, we've got times, dates, places," and shows them. We know you've been corrupted. We know you've been doing this. We'll overlook if you cooperate fully with the federal government at this point. Would you be okay with that?
Well, I would be okay with it, but I think Trump could get a better deal than that.
Maybe. I'm just.
I mean, yeah, I think that's within a presidential power to do things like that.
It's definitely within his power. Would you be okay with it? I mean, I would to smooth things over and to get the country on the right track, particularly going into an election. He would do that, I would think.
I would think so. I don't think he would completely overlook it, but he might.
Soften it.
The deal I would think would be more like, you won't end up going to jail
Right. If you cooperate. Which is done by prosecutors every day.
All the time.
All the time. Don't know if any of that happened.
No, but it's speculation.
But I'm trying to figure out why the big turnaround. What the heck happened that he's turning his back on his rhetoric?
Well, we are seeing early indicators that it's positive.
Yeah.
We need to, let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a big deal because they're not going to hide the fact of 800 agents really left.
No.
That would be noteworthy. And but Elon already said it. How does she know it? All of a sudden, if the president doesn't know it.
Well, there's many ways. She has her own sources of information.
The federal government's not talking to her.
Right, but President Trump might have said something to her.
Really? I know he called Waltz and Frey.
He might have sent her a message. Who knows? He might have had somebody talk to her. There's a whole lot of ways.
They're finding out her net worth that she put down on. I think congressionally they have to turn that in every year.
Right.
With their net worth. And she turned in a net worth of $30 million, up from nearly like 250,000 or something. It was negative when she first got in. She had more loans than money.
And it makes you suspicious of what's going on with all the fraud in Minneapolis and Minnesota, whether her fingers might have gotten into that pie.
Well, we're finding out the 30 million now was under what the reality. Now they're saying it's 45 million.
Well, there's
that
taking lessons from Pelosi.
Man, she's got better stockbroker than Pelosi. That's pretty good. There's been no explanation yet.
No, well, they'll come. We
don't know anything about it, and obviously it's tied to her husband,
right?
But so is Pelosi's.
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of it's in his name, not hers.
Right.
And according to her, she had tons of inside information, but we never talked.
Yeah.
About anything like work.
Right.
We just happen to get lucky on those stock guys.
Better than any stock market analysts do.
Yeah.
And so consistently. I mean, it's almost like a miracle.
Yeah. One of my listeners says there was some woman giving the left instruction to use a syringe to attack ICE with.
Yes, I saw a story on that.
And I've got the story on that.
But
and she's a nurse. It's
a
nurse.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll cover that in the next hour. We don't have time for that. I thought it was going to be something about the syringe with Elon Omar, but no.
No, different story.
That was a syringe. That seems like the weirdest thing to attack somebody on with. I mean, from a distance. I mean, I understand a syringe is to inject, but she wasn't injecting. I mean, the guy didn't inject anything. He was at a distance squirting some fluid.
Yeah. I used farm syringes for cows when I was a kid. They made good one-shot squirt guns.
Well, I was going to say they're like super soakers.
Yeah, early type.
Yeah, those are a different animal. But yeah, I want to cover this. But because of the mood that's going out there, and the politician is leading everyone in the wrong direction as far as what's acceptable and not acceptable, there are people like this nurse that is giving instructions on how to basically
she's in
use
trouble.
Chemical warfare against ICE. And she does it on her own website. She does, but they feel they're immune, just like this poor gentleman that got killed. He didn't feel like he was in danger. Like I can strike a cop, and
I think he thought that he was in danger, but he thought he was a righteous warrior. It was what we call the woke mind virus convinced him that he was on the right side.
Yeah, and polling and pushing a federal officer and beating him is acceptable.
Right.
It's also a felony.
Yes. So it's
Uh,
extremely
we
unfortunate.
need more people arrested so that they get the message. We'll be back. It's top of the hour at 7:00 AM 560.
From the News 11's information desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. Yuma County's air quality is under scrutiny following a federal hearing.
This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Speaking, under was arrested at Abbott hours of reporters are from home in Iraq overseeing immigration enforcement. Attempting to calm tension, they got even worse. Saturday's deadly shooting of a protester. In Fox's Matt Finn reports from Minneapolis, Holman met with Democratic leaders.
President Trump has laid out a plan for ending the chaos in Minnesota, which in part requires Minnesota to turn over criminals for deportation. But Mayor Trump doesn't seem willing to play ball there. I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe.
The president just posted on his social media Fry playing with fire. The president at a rally in Iowa last night.
12 months ago, Joe Biden did us
Touting an economy, closed border, kicking off weekly campaign events, warning its Democrats will undo what he's done if Republicans lose control of Congress in November. Today marks 40 years since a disaster many Americans watched on television live.
We have the engine start.
The shuttle challenge of history launched a teacher into space. Krista McCall, part of a crew of 73 seconds ago after launch. The challenge was all 7 were killed. Retired astronaut Ani Duggar flew on Challenger's last successful mission months earlier and tells the Fox News Rundown podcast.
It's horrific. You lose friends. You don't want to choose that you don't want to end your exploration. And I guess that's a philosophy that we've carried for what, thousands of years?
32 months, which missions resumed in 1988. America's listening to Fox News. Do you struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep in a bed? Experience Decliner, the revolutionary recliner by FlexSteel. Decliner was engineered to restful sleep mind. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Decliner is more than just a recliner, featuring custom power adjustments like recline, lumbar, heat, massage. It's a personalized comfort experience. Decliner is a sleep solution backed by FlexSteel's durability that you can trust, delivering unmatched comfort, technology, and support. Visit Decliner.com to find a retailer near you.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes and their families, heroes like Scott Abrams. Now, for more than 3 decades, Scott served his community and country while he was on his NYPD motorcycle escorting a funeral procession. Scott was hit by a bus, leaving him partially paralyzed. The Towers was able to honor Scott with a mortgage-free smart home. Please join us supporting the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you can donate $11 a month, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter
From the News 11's information desk, I'm Jelena Aguilera. Yuma County's air quality is under scrutiny following a federal hearing. The hearing focused on federal air quality requirements impacting the region. Federal agencies say Yuma's air is too dusty, placing the county above acceptable pollution levels. That's because the federal government is considering stricter limits on dust levels in Yuma County. Local officials say those changes could require more paved roads, potentially limiting outdoor recreation and reducing public access to land. Federal agencies say they will now take information from the hearing back to Washington as they work to find a path forward that does not hinder growth in Yuma County. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 6 p.m. for your local news, weather, and sports.
Washington, D.C.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. And I have a caller on the line. Let me grab that real quick. You're on the air.
Hey, Russ, how you doing?
Gilbert, good. What's up, man?
Hey, did you hear about Arizona Democrat treasurer for LD? When I want to say LD 12?
No. What about him?
Did you hear what he did? Well, apparently this guy likes to cuss.
Okay.
And he likes to cuss at little girls that wanted to take a picture in front of ICE agents.
Oh, I heard something about that. Go ahead.
He decided to call them the F
Oh,
word.
I did see that. Yeah, and there was a lot of words in there that were inappropriate. Please don't tell us.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I'm glad you.
Yeah.
He's from Scottsdale. He's a realtor, a big realtor out of Scottsdale, base realtor. Absolutely, and I guess he's getting his momentum from all those other Democrats across America that feel that they have the right to do that. And
Yeah.
No, nobody's going to agree with
I
that.
think it's a bad move on his part.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I think it's just exactly the type of look he doesn't want or shouldn't want.
Well, the Democratic Party decided the listings off the representative off the site, so you can't find that. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Oh man. Yeah. Let's just remove him from the website. That's interesting.
Yeah, they removed all the representatives off the website, so people can't find out where that. Yeah, that's where we're at. I mean, we see it all the time. We see the F word being thrown all over. Newscom and those people throwing the F word. I guess this guy from Phoenix decided, hey, I can do the same thing. I can sound cool.
Teenage girls aren't the way to.
Well, and
anyone.
I wonder what substances he might have been ingesting before this happened.
Well, it doesn't matter.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like something a sober person would do.
No,
It's
just
stupid.
a mentally incompetent person would.
Yes.
And just like our Attorney General, how she's talking back about what she said about ICE agents and you stand your ground.
Yeah.
You can shoot them.
Wow.
So
I know, and that's
the reality of
hey,
of the Democratic Party, Russ.
I got to run, my friend. I appreciate the call, but I got some scheduled people coming in. Okay. Thank you, man. Bye bye. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I didn't bring women into your, into the thing like I did the other day.
Oh no, George. What?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I mean, come on, that was so much fun. The girls from the high school were just absolutely fantastic things. But I'm going to have Craig and everybody else introduce themselves.
They're not on the air yet. I haven't had them call in at this point.
No. I'm calling in, and they're all on my phone.
Oh, they're all on your phone? Okay. So I don't need the other line open then.
Well, hang on a second. El, can you hear me?
I don't hear anything.
I don't think so. I think George hung up on me, but I deserve it. It's happened the other way around many times.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, these are complex interactions.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
We're just because I could give radio shows from Australia regularly doesn't mean we can do it in the U.S.
I'm just dealing with some incompetent people.
Well, I think
I'm one of them. Man.
Well, things happen.
Well, I think I lost George now.
It sounds like it because he's not talking, so he'll call back.
All right. Let me hang up on that. Yeah, leave the phone lines open. See if George's going to get it together, maybe, and call me back. We started talking about this nurse that was fired for anti-ICE stuff. Now, there's been a lot of anti-ICE stuff out there. So how do they pick which ones? Well, this one over the top, maybe.
Yes.
And this nurse is from Virginia. She's with the Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU. Uh, she made a series of videos that she put out on Facebook on how to hurt ICE.
Yes, and I mean, she was using her imagination, and I thought it's just bad to threaten people. And I think she tried to kind of claim it
Hold on,
was.
let me see if I can get this phone. You're on the air. Hello. Yes.
Hey, this is Paula Dunphy and Craig Berkman from the Free at Last Coalition.
Okay. And George, do I have you also?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've got your guest.
Craig?
You've got your guest now, George.
Craig,
Do we
can
have
you hear us?
Craig on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Don't be
Craig
shy.
is the one I want to hear from. This charity is really, really a great charity. But more importantly, Craig was the Reagan administration, and I mean, seriously,
Well,
I just want to listen.
okay,
right now.
you just go ahead and listen. All right. We'll let you two, if you could help me again with the name first.
Craig Berkman,
Brooks, and the other one?
Ella Dunphy.
Okay. And what is this charity that we're working with?
It's called the Free at Last Coalition.
Free at Last. And Coalition. And what is it that it's doing for us right now?
It is trying to bring about the removal of the last legal justification for involuntary servitude and slavery in the United States, which ironically is found in the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which has an exception clause, and that exception clause impacts literally millions of people every day in the United States.
And when you say involuntary servitude, in what areas? We're not talking military servitude, or
No,
We're
we're
talking
talking
about
people. We're talking about people who can be forced to fight firefighters in California, put their lives on the line if they're a prisoner in California. People who are required to pick cotton during the cotton season at the Angola State Prison in Louisiana, and they're given a quota each day, and if they don't make the quota, they go into solitary confinement. They're paid nothing. Those are two examples.
I didn't even. Go ahead, Ella.
We also reduce crime. We make America safer by lowering the rate of recidivism if we're giving skills and a living wage to people who have been in prison or even while they're in prison. So I think it may be a little overwhelming for your audience to absorb the full magnitude of what the charity encapsulates. But just to give them a gist of it, the idea of making our country safer is something we can all get behind, right, Craig? And then there's so many ways that Craig has figured out as the executive director of the charity. You know, he founded it. He's the CEO of this nonprofit.
Okay.
He has taken this idea and really brought it to the forefront for politicians to get involved in changing the current situation with a constitutional amendment, and he'll tell you about it. But it's a really exciting thing. So, Craig, you know, I'll let you go into the details, but I want to make sure everyone understands the gist of it first.
And Craig, let me ask a question. You mentioned that it would be people in prison that are doing work that they didn't necessarily volunteer for. I mean, I know there's work, and I know very little about it, but I know there's work details that some people in prison can do and earn some money. But you're saying it's underpaid and it's forced. It's not what I think it is.
Well, we want to be clear that we think that work should be part of the rehabilitation process for every able-bodied person that's incarcerated.
Okay.
But their work has value, and for them to say that they can literally, as I said, in California, put your life on the line fighting firefighters or being required to pick a quota of cotton each day and be punished and paid nothing. I think most people think that's just morally wrong. And we have an interesting dynamic with our economy, in that a lot of companies are having more difficult times keeping their current employees, let alone finding new ones. And there's almost 1 million person workforce in our federal, state, and local prisons that is available that a lot of companies would hire and pay them. And then if they've done a good job while they were incarcerated, there's a high probability they'll hire those people and they have a job waiting for them when they get out, rather than being under a bridge and homeless.
Okay. So,
Craig, I worked on the program with the Marriott, the Hilton, and the Trump. The thing is that you come in and you start as a dishwasher, and the only place that you can actually work your way all the way up is in the hospitality industry. But one of the things that came out of it is you had to have a job. And the manager that was over you started in this program. Am I right? One of the cool things about it is that when you come out on parole, you have to have a job. And the Marriott, the Hilton, all the major hotel chains do this. And and the other day when I was in Yuma, I was staying at the hotel, and the people that ran the hotel and everything else all started through this program. And am I wrong?
Well, you'd be amazed at how many companies will not hire somebody if they have a felony record.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the proverbial, stain on your chest forever. But the other interesting statistic that people don't realize is 25% of the adult population of the United States have a felony record now in this country. We're only 5% of the world's population, but we incarcerate 25% more than any other country. We incarcerate more people than Russia and China combined. So the notion of, and there's a model for making it possible, as Ella said, for not only the prisons to be safer, but also our communities to be safer. If you give somebody something constructive to do, rather than just walking around pumping iron and getting in fights while they're incarcerated, you can provide for them and their families while they're incarcerated, and you've gone a long way to maybe help keep those families together by the person having a family wage job when they get out. There's a fellow by the name of Peter Oakes, it's spelled O-C-H-S, who lives in the state of Kansas, who a number of years ago convinced the governor and the legislature in Kansas to allow him to put one of his company's manufacturing facilities in their state prison. And they agreed, and they came up with the following formula that he would, Mr. Oak's company would pay these prisoners the same wage that people on the outside doing equivalent work for his company were being paid. Part of that money would go if the prisoner had restitution and that they owed money as part of their crime. Part of that money they made would go to offset to start paying down that restitution. Some of it would be sent home for their families, and some of it would pay their own commissary. So and then lastly, they would set aside a portion of it as a savings account. So when they got out, they had some money to transition back into the community. But most importantly, they had a job waiting for them. And the experience with Mr. Oak's program is that every person that went through that program behind bars and was hired by his company, not one of them went back to prison. The recidivism rate in his case is 0, which is a staggering statistic compared to the 70% of most prisoners are back in jail within 3 years of their getting out.
Craig, I would think it'd be very limited on what they could do and how because of just the logistics of security and everything else. You just can't let a felon out at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work in a bank and then expect him to come back.
No, all this work would be done in the prison itself. But
okay.
There are a lot of things that can be done. You could have a call center. That's one example of what people could do. You could be doing packaging for people like, Starbucks. And I mean, there's a variety of things. As long as the companies that are providing these jobs, if they have equipment that's needed to help do the job and they have supervisory personnel, as long as the state or the federal government will guarantee the safety of their equipment and their personnel, it's a model that Mr. House has proven is very powerful.
Well, they can do it now, right? I mean, if a prison system wanted to do something like this, they can incorporate it tomorrow. They don't really need legislation, would they? Or
well, in order for a private enterprise to get access to a prison, that would require usually the governor and the legislature providing the overall authority, and then they'd have to work with the people who are running those prison facilities. The one thing that is also a distinguishing nuance, but it's very important to understand, is these jobs that are being offered behind bars, the people who are paying the bill are private companies. So there might be some people who would say, well, if right now we're paying prisoners nothing and we have to start paying them a living wage, that's going to be another burden on the taxpayer. The model that we've developed says, no, the private sector, there are literally hundreds of companies in the private sector. If they could get access to that labor force behind bars, they would do so in a nanosecond using the model that I just described with Mr. Oakes in Kansas.
I think the president of El Salvador is being heralded for his keeping the country safe. And I know we've had little glimpses of his prison, but it's a work camp. I mean, when you look in there, it's very organized, it's very neat, and it shows tons of prisoners doing sewing. I think is the one that I saw was sewing machines. I don't know if they were getting paid or if it was required. I have no idea, but they seem to have good control of the prison.
Well, think about it also. If they have a skill where they can earn a living wage after prison, they are less likely to commit a crime in order to eat or to feed their family after prison. So giving them skills and even building some of their skills, things they can do while in prison and things they can learn, some AI, maybe some coding, maybe some, putting together chips for a semiconductor company, something that they could do where they can earn a way to support themselves without committing crime, encourages all sorts of people who might have been arrested for robbery. They don't go back to the robbery and rob your car and cause problems in society if they are gainfully employed when they leave prison, which is so hard, as Craig mentioned, so hard for them to become gainfully employed when they leave prison. But what Free at Last Coalition does is it's building their skills. It's supporting these prisoners to get a little money saved from the work they're doing in prison. It helps the private sector because the private sector has low wages that they have to pay, but they're getting, certainly a captive audience of people who want to work, because what else are they going to do if they are, mentally able to and physically able to help a company and to see some hope in the future? Providing hope to people who need it most is a big part of the Free at Last coalition. And Craig experienced many interesting things in his life, from being with 7 presidents of the United States, knowing them on a first name basis, to starting AMAT, Applied Materials, and being part of that story. I mean, he's had his ups and downs, and it's a fascinating story that he'll tell you. But one thing he came out of his experiences with is the insight that it's really slavery, and that the amendment to the Constitution about slavery does not allow someone who's in prison to not be a slave, that there still is slavery. Craig says this to me all the time. There's still slavery in America. And I say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Slavery is illegal. And he says, no, look at the exception clause. If you're in jail, you can be a slave. And does that really benefit society?
There was a movie called
25% of our population
that talks
feel
about
like a
that.
slave.
I didn't know chain gangs were even legal anymore. I mean, I think some of them.
No, but the biggest thing in the entire world is that the recidivism from the Hyatt, the Marriott, the Hilton is pretty close to zero, because the people that they go and work with had gone through the program before them.
And we'd like to expand those kind of programs.
Yes, and for your listening audience, let me briefly describe the process of amending the U.S. Constitution. It requires a 2/3 vote in favor of the amendment by both the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. And then it goes directly from the Congress to the 50 state legislatures, and 38 out of the 50 state legislatures, 3/4 of the state legislatures, have to ratify or vote in favor of the amendment that was referred to them by the Congress before the amendment becomes effective. Many people are surprised that there's no formal role for a president of the United States. Unlike legislation that goes to a president either to be signed or for him to put a veto on it, it goes directly from the Congress to the state legislatures, bypassing the president of the United States.
Wow.
And if this happened, this would be the 28th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
And do you have a website where this is you suggested?
Yes, we do.
It's,
yes, the website is freeatlastcoalition.org.
Okay.
And it's a 501c3 bipartisan organization. We have a wide variety of people in America that have been in leadership positions in many walks of our national life, from people like Tony Dungy, the famous NFL coach, Lou Piniella, the manager of the Yankees and who won the World Series as the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, from the world of sports, the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, retired federal judge, civil rights leaders. People like that are on our advisory board, and they're all listed with their pictures and biographical sketches on the website.
Right. The Free at Last Coalition has the support also of ambassadors and generals and all sorts of government officials as the coalition works to change legislation to promote these policies that will reduce the rate of recidivism and therefore make America safer, lower crime, and give hope to people who have been through a bad time. You know, whether or not they were innocent. Obviously, if you're innocent, it's really frustrating to get out of jail and have a record and have a hard time in getting a new job. And Craig, what is the current situation when someone gets out of jail? They give you a tiny bit of money to last for a day or so, and then you have to go to some kind of shelter if you have no money, and then look for a job from a shelter. Is that sort of the norm?
Most people are given $50 and a bus ticket. That's it when they get out.
And what do they do from there?
They're on their own, and that's many of them end up under a bridge and homeless, and they're they're discriminated against in housing, employment. Many of them can't get a bank account.
This is a predictable problem for every single person in the prison system, and it can be prevented with the proper training, with a job set up for them when they leave. They go to that, and then they don't commit crime or be homeless. And, do you also give a distinction between people who are violent criminals? Like, obviously, if there's someone who was a rapist or pedophile, maybe we're not giving them the same kind of second chance for getting someone who was caught with a tiny amount of marijuana or caught stealing food.
Well,
How
I
do we
think
make that distinction?
again, would you rather have somebody who's in jail for a violent offense committing additional violence behind bars or productively working on something, even though they may never come out of prison?
Yeah,
I would vote to have them working in something productive to keep them occupied in something that's peaceful rather than figuring out ways to get into fights or maybe murder somebody else behind bars. And that somebody isn't necessarily a fellow prisoner; it can be a guard as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've got to go. I'm running out of time, but
Your political past, Craig. Let's hear some stories from your days at Ronald Reagan's inauguration, and maybe you can start with the first time you met a U.S. president.
Well, I had a dear political mentor, friend by the name of Mark Hatfield. Mark Hatfield was a two-term governor in Oregon and a six-term U.S. Senator from Oregon. And in 1964, at the Republican National Convention in San Francisco, where the Republican Party nominated Barry Goldwater as our nominee, Mark Hatfield was the keynote speaker of that national convention. In the course of the days there, he and his wife hosted a reception in honor of former President Dwight David Eisenhower and his wife Mimi. And as a token of their appreciation for all the work that the former president and an Allied commander in World War II did on behalf of our country, there was a bronze bust of President Eisenhower that was presented to him. And as a junior aide of then Governor Hatfield, I was the person chosen to hold the bust and give it to the governor, who in turn gave it to the president. Well, a number of months later, I had two or three occasions when I was in the U.S. military during the Vietnam conflict to meet with former President Eisenhower at the Cochran Ranch in Indio, California, where he...
Craig, we're way past our time limit on this. Yeah, and I apologize because I really want to talk about all this other stuff later on, if you don't mind.
All right.
Where we can have a whole hour with you. But Craig, can we go back to the charity? What's the website? Where do we end it up? And Russ, let's wrap this thing up.
All right.
The website is www.freeatlastcoalition.org.
All right. I appreciate all your time, gentlemen, ladies. I need to run to break. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye-bye. and I'll be right back.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I spent years living in fear of calcium oxalate crystal stones, always afraid of when the next one would hit. Now I just take Kidney Cop.
Battling calcium oxalate stones, it's time to try Kidney Cop, a doctor-recommended kidney supplement that has been shown in laboratory tests to reduce the growth rate of calcium oxalate crystals by 99%. Get Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
What's up, Yuma, and hello, Russ Clark Show listeners. Johnny Porter here, and I just made the switch to Aloe Fiber, and it's a game changer. Lightning fast speeds for streaming, working from home, and gaming. No buffering or slowed down speeds. It's time to ditch the glitch and switch to Aloe Fiber.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF.
We just got nailed with it.
So tell us, how you feeling?
Really, really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way, bro.
There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
He'll protect your alfalfa from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
Unseasonably mild weather continues. We'll get into the low 80s starting this weekend. Today, partly cloudy and 76. North winds at 10 to 15, 55 tonight. For tomorrow, partly cloudy and 78. Windy again, clear and 51 tomorrow night. And then Friday, sunshine and 80.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
Hey, I'm 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Dean's here. How about now?
Glad to be here.
I got to turn your mic on. That was an unexpected call from George. George set something up.
Yes.
And I didn't have time to research. I didn't have time to prep. But he said some things in there that I just like raised my eyebrows. He said 25% of the population have felony arrests.
That seemed high to me.
It is. It's higher than I thought, though. It's 8%, according to what I just looked up.
Yeah.
It says. And these are records from 2017, so they're a little dated, like 9 years dated. But it says adult population with felony records is about 8%. Share of black adults is about 23%.
Well, that's close to what he was claiming. So maybe he was thinking
That's just the black population, and but it's even higher for black men.
Oh yeah,
which is 33% have a felony record.
Wow,
1 in 3 black men
has a felony record.
Has a felony record. But, you know, what he's talking about, and I haven't looked at the website or anything, sounds great. I mean, we should get people back to work.
I remember hearing something about a program like this before.
Well, there's been tons of programs like this.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, I've got a call from a listener that said, hey, check this one out in Virginia. You know, I'm aware of it and all that stuff. But they didn't need a
constitutional amendment.
And I'm kind of curious what the constitutional amendment is going to do, but I haven't read it yet, so there might be some value to that. But also, there's a lot of people in prison that just can't be rehabilitated.
Correct.
Not that I want to give up on anybody, but I can't imagine the employers are going to sink a bunch of money into this and pay them the same wage when the complexities and the the quality is going to be totally different than what you're going to get in the free market.
Right. And it's obviously not available for all tasks.
No.
But there are some that it can be available for. And
I think so. And I appreciate the attention to it. And I appreciate the fact that they want to get that done. I think it's noble to do this. And I've worked a little bit with some of the programs we got in Yuma for like drug rehabilitation and drug court and stuff like that, where they do rehabilitation stuff. It's not necessarily having them work, but it's having them, get away out around drugs and helping them get to work, getting GEDs, getting those kind of things.
Well, it's just a difficult problem.
It is a difficult problem, and even 8% is high as far as a percentage of the country that has had a felony.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's almost 1 in 10.
More than 1 in 10.
No, 8%.
8%.
Yeah,
Not quite 1 in 10. But
yeah.
But yes, and to put a little bit of perspective that I have on this kind of things, once you get a felony conviction, you're not allowed to exercise Second Amendment rights anymore.
Nope.
And that is changing, by the way. There's been several cases going before the courts, and the gist of what seems to be happening is if it wasn't a violent felony, you may be able to get your rights restored, or eventually they may just say, we're not going to take your rights for things that are not violent.
Yeah.
So that's happening. There's several cases on it making their way up to the Supreme Court. So that's one of the things that is a problem for people who get a felony conviction. And we've made so many things into felonies that weren't felonies 100 years ago. So,
well, and reading on this there's an article written in 2025 says approximately 77 million Americans, or 1 in every 3 adults, have a criminal record. Now, that's not a felony record. That's a criminal.
Yes, I mean that includes, for example, if you've been arrested, even if you're found to be completely unrelated.
Let's say you assaulted an ICE officer.
Yeah.
And it creates a barrier to jobs, occupational licensing, hiring, and higher education opportunities. All true.
Yes, it does.
A lot of jobs just aren't available to people with criminal records, and those that are, depends on the employer of whether they feel comfortable.
Well, right.
It's the case by case.
Unfortunately, a lot of these can be for arrest where you were found to be completely innocent and weren't involved at all, but you just got arrested.
It's always possible.
It's easy to be arrested. It doesn't require very much at all. And once you're arrested, that's on your record. It's hard to get off.
Well, it's an interesting problem, and I'm glad to see people are attacking it. Trying to do something about it.
It's right, and it's just not easy the way the system is set up.
Now, but they started off the conversation with removing the involuntary slavery,
involuntary servitude, yeah,
service and slavery.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that really exists where they're going to grab a guy and say, you've got to come on the chain gang or something. I Googled it, and artificial intelligence told me you have to agree to go. You have to.
Well, he gave a couple of examples: firefighting in California, picking cotton. I'm not sure which state. Louisiana, Mississippi. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You have to look at it a case by case basis.
I've known guys that were in jail that volunteered.
Volunteer. I mean, look at Joe Arpaio.
Yeah, and they don't get paid as much as minimum wage either.
Usually, that's the case, and I think that's one of the things that this program or this charity is looking at. They're trying to bump their wages up by doing useful work that's productive.
I understand that, but I also understand why they can't, because they all have to have guards with them. I'm talking about.
Well, of course, and he's trying to get around that by saying you do it in the prison.
Yeah.
And so I think there are certain kinds of jobs that can be done that way.
I agree completely. Well, and I was serious about El Salvador.
Oh yeah,
they're getting high praise for cleaning up the neighborhoods and crime. Not getting high praise for many are condemning them that the prison's too tough. It's too harsh.
Right.
But to look at it, with some of the stuff, there's very much disciplined. I mean, it's clean, spick and span. And when they were receiving prisoners from the United States, they were holding their heads down so they couldn't look around, and they were shackled and all that. All true. But the prisoners exhibited complete control of everything.
The guards,
I'm sorry, the guards, complete control. And then I saw where there was sewing machines set up. I mean, hundreds, maybe 1,000 of sewing machines, and everyone was sitting down at their desk and diligently working. And they got benefits on that. They got time knocked off. They got some pay, and everybody was doing it. And I'm talking like bad guys, real bad guys. I mean, they were able to get it done, but I think it was done with a ton of discipline, not just.
Well, I don't think that the guests on the show were saying that there wouldn't be discipline. I think that they were just saying this is a good way to get a transition back into society rather than just being thrown out there without any resources.
Agreed.
And that's a good goal, and it seems to have some success. So it's
But
worth looking at.
I think they would look at the El Salvador and say that was slavery.
Probably.
And involuntary servitude. I think they would.
I think they would.
Yeah, and I know in Maine, when my in-laws lived in Maine, they lived in a prison town up there. I can't remember the name of it, but Thomason, Maine, and they were famous for making license plates and stuff like that. They did all that. I don't know if it's voluntary or forced or whatever, but we've heard of those work things, and many of them like to work.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things.
They want to do something
because it's usually better than just being bored, and there's some rewards to it. And I think the question is about how the rewards extend, how much the rewards are, and whether they can be extended into after prison time.
But
those are
I don't know how a business could pay them the equal salary and make it work, because I just don't see the productivity coming from that.
Well,
and the complexities.
I think it's each individual instance you'd have to look at. He talked about the one case, Mr. Oakes, I think, in Kansas, and there's an example. There's a pilot project to see how it worked and what happened, and the specifics. Because in something like this, you got to look at the specifics.
Yeah. But maybe they can. I don't know. I haven't looked at it a lot, but it was an interesting concept. And we've got a lot of people.
There are. I mean, it's just a problem. Once you get a record, it's the only way I have seen, and maybe this is another example. But one example is people start up their own businesses because they don't have a choice. It's so hard to get employed at some other thing. If they can start up their own business and make a go of it, that's one way to get back into society.
Have you ever? I mean, you worked at YPG. You probably couldn't have anybody with a record out there.
Well,
some of
a very large amount of the workforce had to have clearances, security clearances.
Right.
And it's hard to get a security clearance if you have a record. It's not impossible,
certain things
but it makes it difficult. And so, having a record just cuts off a whole lot of different avenues of employment for a person.
I've hired people with records. I mean, that's pretty common, but they disclose it.
Yes. Well,
they're not hiding it.
Right.
And we talk about it. I mean, it's not just overlooked. We talk about it, but I don't have a problem with it, and I've got some great employees over the years that have been, had some problems in their background,
Sure. And when you have this is an amazing statistic. A third of African-American men have a felony conviction.
That's
that's
bigger than I would have thought.
It's a horrific statistic.
Yeah.
And
but even 8% for the entire population is too
very
large.
large.
And we're talking just felonies,
Yeah.
I'm sure when you start getting into criminal activity, you're talking a third. Also of the total population, which is criminal.
I mean,
but that could be a shoplifting when you're a teenager or something.
It could be a lot of things. I mean, I've talked to people who've had problems, and it's pretty easy to get on the wrong side of things, especially if you don't have access to a good attorney or the public defender just as well. We'll just got a plea deal.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that happened with J6 guys.
Sure.
A lot of them did plea deals because they couldn't get any information. They were told they're going to have like life plus in jail if you don't plead.
Right. Exactly. I mean, and I don't like the plea deal system, but that's the system we have. It's become ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And I've written articles about particular cases like the one in Montana and the school gun-free school zone. And the person in that there was no option but the plea deal because the risk was so great of much more severe penalties.
I had to go to the judge once. I've been to the judge once. I had to go in, and there was not coming to a complete and full stop before taking a right-hand turn over Delaware.
Oh,
which
yeah,
nobody told me though. It's always stuck with me. Because I showed him a picture of the intersection. Actually, I did stop completely, but then I had to pull up again to see around the corner.
Yeah,
you just couldn't see.
Right.
So I pulled up a little bit more, and that's where the cops saw me. Was after I came to a complete and full stop. And I explained that to the judge. And the judge says, well, I've done it myself. It's, where I've pulled up and I think I'm coming to a complete stop, but maybe you don't really understand what a complete and full stop is. But I've done it, and I've rolled through it and I didn't even realize I was doing it, but you're guilty and pay the fine plus court costs. I'm like, well, thank you, Judge.
The closest I've come is having a bicycle and not complete stopping going through a stop sign.
Yeah.
When there wasn't any traffic around, and I just went to the court with a suit on as a student and said, I'm a poor student, please reduce the fine. And they reduced the fine by half.
I think that's kind of common.
Yeah. So,
and that's helpful, especially if,
the judge complimented me on wearing a suit.
Yeah.
I think dressing well when you go before a judge can make a difference.
Well, and then add politeness to it. And you're hitting a home run there.
Yeah. Be polite.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that because you see it on YouTube.
Oh man, you see people going to court in t-shirts and shorts, and they think they're proving some kind of point by being not being polite. It's really a bad idea. Judges have enormous power over you. Don't make them mad.
It's their courtroom.
Yeah,
they do. We'll be right back. AM 560.
We're the comfort experts, people you can trust. Ask our customers. That's why they count on us. Over 50 years of service, keep us going strong. We've got a name you can depend upon. Hamburger refrigeration and electric. Hamburger, count on us.
Sprague Sports is Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters. Why? Because Sprague Sports is the difference. Where else can you buy, sell, trade, or consign firearms with free expert appraisals always? There's nothing like Sprague Sports. With local price matching, you can buy with confidence at Sprague. And all Sprague firearms come with a lifetime warranty. And talk about customer service. There's a gunsmith always on duty. And there's expert one-day sight-in service. But that's not all. Sprague Sports has got training classes, including Arizona CCW, First Shot, Hunter's Education, and more. Sprague's handles Glock, Blue Label pistols, and is your NFA dealer in suppressors and full auto. That's why we call them the experts. And Sprague's is Yuma's Yeti headquarters. The best Yeti selection and free ice for life. Sprague's has 15 lanes of certified indoor shooting range and gun rentals you can try before you buy. That's Sprague Sports, Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters. Responsible gun ownership since 1956. 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
Hey, I'm 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Dean's here. Glad to be here. I have a caller. They stayed. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, you
didn't
did.
scare me off that easily.
I tried.
Wore out my thumb the other day, and the screen, part of my screen where it hit dial, but
Wow. Okay.
I guess texting you to get your heads up helps.
All right.
So, anyways, I have close and personal knowledge of someone who's been through a lot of what you guys have been talking about the last little bit. Was convicted of a violent felony in his youth, not teenage years, early 20s, and did his time, paid his fine, made the restitution, went through all of the steps, A couple years afterward, tried to get it expunged, but the damaged party wouldn't allow it, spoke up against it.
Yeah.
And I know this person had trouble finding work, did get some here and there, ended up opening up his own business, and for many, many years supported himself and his family. Actually bought a total of 3 different homes in California, Southern California. Actually, one was before the felony. The other 2 were after.
I never knew you owned a home in California.
I said I know this person close and personally.
Oh, okay.
I owned 3 houses in California. One of them was before the incident in question.
All right.
2 of them were not. The second one, well, the second one was a 4-bedroom, had a pool, big, beautiful house. The third home was a what you call it, it was on like a third of an acre. It wasn't quite a half of an acre, but it was only 3 bedrooms, and but it had a built-in bar. It was beautiful.
So he did well then. Yeah.
This person greatly regrets selling their home and moving out of California.
Yeah.
But ended up working out okay. Actually worked out at YPG for 8 years. Was hired on with a felony, passed the FBI investigation, and was told because this happened over 10 years ago, we don't even care about it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That can happen.
So
it can.
It can happen. You can go on with your life, but yes, committing crimes is not necessarily a path to wealth.
No, and a lot of people just give up. You know, they think, well, I can never get a job, so they don't really try.
And you know, a lot of it is in the mindset.
Yeah.
And they're criminals to begin with, and or at least that mindset starts off maybe in their youth, teenage years. But this person is doing quite well now, ends up working 7 days a week, both before and after his day job, and makes plenty of money to support his family and vacations and fun things now. So you can get out of it.
All right. Rehabilitation is a good thing, man. I like to hear it. It's great.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. And then there's a lot of it, rehabilitation. But there's a lot that slipped through and never.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a significant barrier to overcome.
It is. It is. Especially if there's drugs involved.
Oh, that compounds everything.
And sometimes the drugs is what leads to the felony in the first place, and your family cuts you off, you stop getting money from people, and you still have a drug habit. It's an old story.
It's really difficult, and
Yeah, no, that's
you can add alcoholism as part of that too.
Yeah, but I've interviewed a lot of people from Crossroads Mission,
right,
that have had horrible problems with the law, horrible problems with drugs, horrible problems that end up getting sober, getting straight, and getting on track because of the mission. There's a lot of organizations
there are
that do that, and they do a great job over there. In fact, a lot of the people working at the mission are some that were given second chances in life because of the mission,
right?
And they said they wanted to stay to help others.
Yeah, I know a couple of them.
Yeah, that's that works out. That works out really well. There's a lot of ways to do it, but I mean, if it could be done in the prisons themselves, I'm a big fan. I've got to go for it. I don't know if it takes an amendment, but
well, the amendment would force things in a particular way. It's so hard to get amendments through. I mean, it can be done. We've done 27,
yeah, something like that.
So it can't. Well, and the first 10 were the Bill of Rights, and that was done.
They were still hard,
but it was almost an automatic thing. The states had agreed, yeah, we'll join if you give us a Bill of Rights.
Right. They wanted some.
So it
certain-
was a pretty
They-
strong push for the Bill of Rights.
Well, they
to
wanted some
start.
things spelled out. That
Right.
wasn't spelled out in the Constitution.
Exactly.
And so we got that in the Bill of Rights. I got to take a break. We'll be back at 8 o'clock, AM 560, KBLU.
There's a man in D.C. He stands 6'3". He's fighting for you. He's fighting for me. He'll drink that with you. This is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Reacting to the Democrat statement that Haiti will not enforce federal immigration law. The mayor to the Post saying the job of police is to make people feel safe. This after fraud with Borders Art Coleman, who's now in charge of immigration enforcement in Minnesota. President Trump tells Fox they want to de-escalate the tension, calling what ICE has done for crime there a success.
Minnesota has low numbers because of the fact that we took thousands of hardened criminals out of Minnesota.
The president also held a rally in Iowa campaigning for Republicans before the November election, touting an improved economy and success closing the border.
They cannot come in unless they come in quickly into our country and will let some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like you and Omar. Did you see what?
But a short time later in Minnesota, a man asked Congressman Ilhan Omar at a town hall, speaking out against ICE days after the deadly shooting of a protester.
She was talking about all the immigration chaos on the ground here, and then all of a sudden it was interrupted by this man who apparently was some type of liquid from a syringe.
This is Matt Finn in Minneapolis.
It is not clear what the liquid was. We got inquired. Omar was angered and shaken, but appeared mostly unharmed. Security tackled the man identified as Anthony James Kazarchuk and walked him out of the room. He was charged with third-degree assault.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is at the Senate to testify about the U.S. operation in Venezuela to capture leader Nicolas Maduro. Fox's Jillian Turner is there and has Rubio's opening statements.
He's going to say we will closely monitor the performance of the interim authorities as they cooperate with our stage-based plan to restore stability to Venezuela. But he does insist, quote, we are prepared to use force to ensure maximum cooperation if other methods fail.
America's listening to Fox News. Do you struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep in a traditional bed? Experience Z-Liner, the revolutionary recliner by Flexsteel. The Z-Liner was engineered with restful sleep in mind. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Z-Liner is more than just a recliner, featuring custom power adjustments like recline, headrest, lumbar, heat, massage. It's a personalized comfort experience. Z-Liner is a sleep solution backed by Flexsteel durability that you can trust, delivering unmatched comfort, technology, and support. Visit zliner.com to find a retailer near you.
Following the attack on 9/11/01, FDNY firefighter Daniel Foley assisted in the rescue and recovery efforts at Ground Zero. Daniel spent months and months searching for victims. Daniel's death was the direct result of 9/11-related cancer. He leaves behind his wife, Carrie, and their children. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Join us. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.
From the News 11 Information Desk, I'm Julie Aguilera. Yuma County's air quality is under scrutiny following a federal hearing. The hearing focused on federal air quality requirements impacting the region. Federal agencies say Yuma's air is too dusty, placing the county above acceptable pollution levels. That's because the federal government is considering stricter limits on dust levels in Yuma County. Local officials say those changes could require more paved roads, potentially limiting outdoor recreation and reducing public access to land. Federal agencies say they will now take information from the hearing back to Washington as they work to find a path forward that does not hinder growth in Yuma County. Catch us on the TV side on News 11 every weekday at 5, 6, and 10 p.m. for your latest local news, weather, and sports.
There's a man in D.C. He's standing.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark back with you, and we have Dean here. It's Wednesday, hump day.
Yeah, good day.
Well, we started to talk before George interrupted me so rudely about this nurse, but let me get back to it after the phone call. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Clyde. Good morning.
You know, every day we turn the TV on and we're seeing more and more violence in our streets. And, I don't know, civil unrest, if you want to call it, whatever.
Okay.
There's a simple cure to this.
Well, don't say water cannon.
No.
Okay, good.
And we don't need to hire more ICE agents. In fact, I think we should pull all our ICE agents back and let everything kind of calm down for a week or two. And then I think what we need to do is we need to hire more or employ more judges for naturalization and for immigration hearings. Now, all these people that Biden let in had to fill out a form. They were told they would have to come back for an immigration hearing, correct?
I think so. I think they're all given that if they're processed.
That was a lot of them. I'm sure it's not all, but a significant chunk.
Yeah.
That's how they were. They would come in and they would turn themselves into Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Here locally, they would give them a letter and they would give them a date, or send them a letter with the date of when their immigration status hearing would take place. So I think we need to hire more judges. And part of that deal, I don't know if you've ever seen what they had to sign the form. You can get a copy or you can see what it is.
Probably have.
They have to notify the immigration if their address has changed, because they had to give an address where they were going to.
Right.
So if their address had changed, they had to keep it current. So if they didn't, that would be a violation, which means you could actually go back. Let's pick up I don't know how many millions that came across the last 5 years or 4 years during Biden's term. Let's start with those people and do the hearings and get them out of here. Or if they're abiding by what they're supposed to be doing, then give them a timeline on their process.
Well, I think that's all said. I mean, that's all good. But to give them hearings, you're going to have to go find them because they will not voluntarily come in. It's only it's less than 10% that even attempt to come in. Much less than 10%.
I know, but is that less violent than going out? I mean, I'm not saying that what's happening. You know, you don't strike an officer in any way. I'm not condoning that or saying that's okay to do that. I'm simply saying here's the tool to use. And when all these little Democrats start crying, you say, no, this is how your president that you love so much, the old man, set it up to be. It's got to be a little bit easier going and searching for those people that are out there that came in during Biden's term. Or at least it's a damn good start.
Well, and that's what ICE is out doing right now. They're looking for them. You know, they're going after the criminal ones first, but that's what they're doing. It doesn't seem to be accepted in Minneapolis. It's okay in Texas, though.
There's got to be a database somewhere that has addresses of all these people where they came to. Whether they're residing there yet or not, I don't know. But we don't know till we try.
They do try. They're out there, man. That's what they do.
You know what? Never mind. You missed the whole boat. So I'm not even going to have a more discussion with you.
All right, buddy.
Your mind is closed to where it's at and everything.
All right.
And by the way, you know, kicking Gilbert off the phone to let George talk, that's kind of low.
Yeah.
I think Gilbert had more info than George does. But,
yeah.
Go have a good day, buddy.
All right, buddy. Clyde. That's what ICE does every day.
Well, I think what Clyde was talking about particularly was getting a lot more judges available.
I agree with
and
all
it's
that.
just hard to do.
Yeah, but you know, if you think that you give them a piece of paper and have them, and they're going to come in, they don't. In fact, I've talked to ICE agents.
I understand that, but there is a problem sometimes with that. There's a backup of procedure of getting things done, and so getting more judges is a good idea.
And they've talked about more judges for a long time,
right?
Yeah, they wanted more judges, and that is part of the system. But to think that we're just giving a piece of paper and they're going to come in ain't going to happen.
It hasn't. I mean, that has not worked, and
unfortunately.
And I've talked to people who are intimately involved in the immigration system. And they pretty much say it's super complex and it's kind of broke.
Yeah.
And we need to fix it. So, but it's hard to do.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Let's talk about this nurse, this anti-ice nurse. She works for the Virginia Commonwealth University, and she's been fired.
Oh,
Yeah, been fired because she made a whole series of videos on how to harm ice.
yeah.
And people feel emboldened to do this stuff. They thought, well,
Because you have a bunch of people telling
Yeah.
them that it's the righteous thing to do.
the university said, we prioritize the health and safety of everyone who comes to us for care. We are aware of a series of videos that appears to have been posted by an individual confirmed to be an employee of our health system. The content of the video is highly inappropriate and does not reflect the integrity or values of our health system. Now, the police are assisting with the investigation. Per policy, the investigation is underway. The individual is on administration leave and will not be in our facility for interacting with patients. At first, it said she was fired.
I was going to say, so that's what you said later is what I understood, that she hadn't been fired yet. They're investigating.
The article says fired at the beginning, and then this gives I don't know.
Well,
which is true.
administrative leave is not the same, but
Hopefully she's been fired by now.
don't know. I mean, you should go through an investigation. And the thing is, what I read, she tried to be what I would call cute. Well, I'm not really telling people to poison ICE officers, wink, wink. And, people can understand when you're actually advocating for the commission of crimes, even if you try to put in some caveats. And, well, I'm not really doing. I'm just saying you could do this. No, it doesn't work out well for you.
She was suggesting that they get needles full of some anesthetic that causes rapid short-acting muscle paralysis,
right,
and threaten ICE agents with it.
And she was talking about contaminating food and poisoning agents.
Yeah,
And it's just bad.
She said, get a hold of poison ivy, and then liquefy it, put it like in water and stuff, and then spray it into their faces.
And nasty stuff. People can, if she got enough of that poison active ingredient in poison ivy in people's eyes, they can get blinded.
Oh my gosh.
It's bad.
And third video, which was named Stay Toxic, sends a message to single women telling them to go on dates with ICE agents and spike their drinks.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
And part of the problem is these people are not well grounded in reality. I mean, this is and I had to learn it. I mean, I'm 74, so I've had a lot of ability or time to learn this stuff. When I was 17, I might have made the same thing. Oh, we could do this, but reality is that's bad, and you can get arrested, and you can lose huge amounts of your life over this.
Wants them to put X-Lax in their drinks and stuff to make them miserable. You're not going to die. It's just going to make them bad. I'm just saying, let's get them where they eat. And then she says, let's make their blanky lives miserable.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's I'm not sure if that's a felony or a misdemeanor, but it's a crime.
I would think so. I would think so.
Advocating to assault people, which is what she's talking about,
Poison them, it sounds like.
Is a crime.
Sounds like that. Our redistricting has been getting a lot of attention in the last 6 months or so.
Right.
When Texas decided to redistrict, which they've accomplished, I guess.
Right.
They've got, I don't know if it's completely finalized, but
at least a court has said it's
got through the
okay.
courts and everything like that. And in doing that, we all opened our eyes to look at what has been going on, and you realize that all the Democrat states did it years ago.
Yeah, right. Exactly. To extreme extent.
And they were the ones that were screaming that Texas shouldn't be able to.
Right. We've got ours.
Because
Now
we got
any.
ours. I got more to the story, but let's take a phone call first. You're on the air.
Hey, it's me again. You cut me off to listen to those yahoos. Cracked me up.
Yeah, me too, man.
First of all, Russ, what does it cost us to take care of inmate in Arizona State Prison?
Oh gosh, I don't know, but it's 30,000-40,000 a year, I'm sure, per person.
I try like 85, 90.
Is that right? Oh man, my numbers are way off.
Yeah, I might be wrong myself. The last time I heard it, it was way up there.
Depends on the person.
Yes, exactly. My son-in-law is a great man. He's about 6'7", 6'8", in Oregon. He is the state prison maintenance supervisor. So I know a little bit about the prison, what's going on over there. And he does have people doing carpentry, plumbing, and electrical. So some of these guys are getting educated in the trades, which is phenomenal. Now, that's a great idea. If you, like, well, Oregon sends a lot of money to prisons and stuff, but they are getting trades. They are getting schooling. It doesn't happen for everybody, and everybody doesn't accomplish what they should in prison. You know it. And yesterday we were talking about mental cases, people that were mentally that had mental cases. Now, this lady that you're talking about, you don't think she's a mental case?
Oh, yeah, but she's a nurse. She's not even in prison.
No, we're talking about, excuse me, I stayed right to another conversation.
Yeah, but she's messed up, man.
You don't think she has a mental case?
I can't be the one to diagnose it. No.
I think she has a poor grasp of reality.
Yeah.
I think she has mental problems.
Okay.
I may
The
not
two
be,
are
I
not
may not be,
exclusive.
I may not be a doctor, but I tell you what, listening to her and listening to my wife talk, she's definitely a mental case. She has her ideas are violent ideas. Do you agree, Russ?
Oh, I think her ideas are completely messed up and they're illegal. I think she should be arrested.
You don't think that she has a violent attitude?
Oh, she does.
She does. She's demonstrated such. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to me, you have a mental deficiency in your brain.
Okay.
Something is short circuiting in you.
I flunked out of psychology school, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. You won't admit. That's okay.
Oh.
You're Russ Clark.
All right.
You're Russ Clark. And I heard your caller again talk about Mexicans.
Really?
He had, your caller called about, he said something about Mexicans in our schools again.
Oh, yeah, earlier. I thought coming across the border to get into school.
Oh, you mean like not today, but a different day. Okay.
Yeah. But he keeps on saying that's the only thing he has to say. Offer something better than that. There are other people besides Mexicans coming into our schools.
Well, the ones that walk every day live in Mexico, so I assume most of them would be of Mexican citizenry, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, and it's like a few years ago, he said, "I don't want no Mexicans sitting next to my grandkids."
Well, that's rude. Maybe he has a mental problem. I don't know.
Well, anytime somebody says that, yep. But anyway, my son-in-law, he works with prisoners every day, and they have trades there. At least carpentry, electric, plumbing, yada yada yada. So some of those prisoners will come out with some sort of background, and that's how. And I believe our prisons have the same thing. We got prisoners that do maintenance. I know when I worked in the county jail, I had five or six inmates that were trustees that they were my paint crew, and we painted the new jail.
Yeah.
We painted the whole thing. So at least they got something.
That's good to know. And I've heard many similar stories. There's work programs at most of them, but
And again, why should we pay these guys? They made the ultimate decision to get in trouble, right?
Yeah.
They had choices. They made those choices. So why should we pay them money? They should, let's say we do pay them. We'll pay them. Then we deduct what it cost us to provide 3 hots and a cot. That would be fair, don't you think, Russ?
I think it's fair to the taxpayer for sure.
Yeah.
But right now the system doesn't even pay a minimum wage, which I think they're happy to get that because it's better than sitting there doing nothing.
This is what I think about this. Would you rather stay in your cell or go out and paint oil-based paint on the walls?
I would guess so, but I don't have a lot of experience at that. You know? I mean,
But
being in prison, I've painted, I've done.
Yeah. These guys chose to come out and paint oil-based paint on the walls rather than stay in the cell. So I had a great crew. Anyway, that's how I felt about that guy talking.
Sure.
I think George found himself a couple of liberals, and they decided to come on your show and stew their stuff. I think they're nuts myself.
Okay.
Why should we pay them?
Well,
You know?
I'm hesitant to pay him full wages myself because there is a complexity to having them. Like you said, there's overhead of everything else. I think it's nice to give them a trade in the train. I think that would be great. If you can do it without costing the taxpayers more money, that'd be great. And if private enterprise does it, I think it's fine.
Right. You know, things need to be fixed in prisons.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a lot of stuff to fix in there, and they got a lot of stuff to build. So, like I said, they have trades. And you want to get paid? Okay, I'll pay you your $15 an hour. And in the meantime, we're going to deduct what it costs to house you. Your 3 hots and a cot, electricity.
Right.
Fair's fair. All right.
See you, man. Bye-bye. I looked up how much it costs to spend a year in Arizona's state prisons, between 30 and 50,000 a year. I was right on that. Something shocked me though. Private prisons only cost about 14,000 a year.
Wow, it's a big difference.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. I mean, that's eye-opening.
I don't know, but I mean, if you're a employee of,
bring your mic up in front of me. Okay.
If you're an employee of a state prison, you're probably a state employee. State employees might have better benefits, might have higher wages.
Where it's more than double? Wow.
That seems like a lot. But
That seems like a lot.
I mean, any private enterprise usually does things a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Elon Musk with SpaceX versus NASA.
Right. Yeah, but you look at the prison spending 30 to 50,000, 14,000 estimated for private prisons, and they're still making a profit.
Well, and you know, you have to look at the specifics. A maximum security prison is one thing, and a workhouse is another. So,
well, that's probably true. I mean,
and I don't know which side the private ones are.
It may be the security level.
It could be.
Might be. Getting back to this. No, we covered the sick lady.
Yeah, the one who
wants to poison
ice agents. Yeah, she made a poor choice.
But the sadness is she doesn't realize that she's been in the bubble probably.
I think so.
Because she's making it all public. She doesn't realize there's anything wrong.
Yeah, she might be another victim of the woke mind virus.
Yeah, I think so. Virginia judge, we started to talk about this too on the redistricting.
Right.
Like the California's redistricting and all that stuff. And then Texas did it and it caused a whole problem.
Well, I wouldn't say it caused a whole problem. There was a big foofara over it.
Yeah, Newsom gets crazy.
And they had that ballot initiative in California.
We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know if it's done yet.
It's being challenged in the court.
Okay.
The Republican Party has challenged it in the courts and said this redistricting is blatantly race-based in at least one district, and that is illegal under U.S. law. You can't have political preference by race, and they're taking that to the federal courts. I don't know if it goes directly to the Supreme Court or not.
Well, it's going to happen fast. We're going to get a redistricting.
They
time,
are. Yeah, this is happening fast. As I recall, in fact, they said that one of the Supreme Court justices might have been Ketanji Jackson that said, explain to us how this is legal to California.
Oh, that race-based is legal?
Yeah, that their redistricting is not what is alleged.
Jackson's kind of
I'm not sure if it was her. I know that it wasn't. It was one of the three more leftward-leaning judges.
But this Virginia judge had to get involved in Virginia because Virginia wants to do a reorganization to benefit Democrats. But they can't because of the because of their constitution, the Virginia Constitution.
Okay.
But they were going to do it anyway. They were going to vote to override it and all that. But the judge shut them down. Judge Jack S. Hurley Jr. invalidated the actions taken to advance the proposed constitutional amendment, blocking it from moving forward and barring it from being submitted to voters. That the lawsuit focused on whether lawmakers could take up a redistricting-related constitutional amendment during a special session initially convened to address budget matters.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but once you put down what you're going to do,
well, it depends on how the laws are written in every state.
Most
there's
of them are
variations.
like when we held meetings with the county supervisor, whatever, we put on it exactly what
Yes.
we could not add.
I know that there are some states where they can widen out their authority, but
Well, that
apparently
seems
not.
nitpicky. Just have another meeting and read and then. But anyway, they couldn't take up a redistricting related constitutional amendment during a special session when it's about budget matters. Generally, a symbol follow its own rules when expanding the scope of that session. Certainly, both houses of the Commonwealth's legislature are required to follow their own rules and regulations or resolutions.
Right.
He found that lawmakers improperly added redistricting to the list of issues allowed during the special session without the required unanimous consent or supermajority vote. So that's why you just add it.
Yeah,
Don't
that makes
ask.
sense.
You're not going to get that.
I mean, these are safeguards that are built into the system.
So Hurley noted that more than 1 million Virginians had already cast ballots in the 2025 House of Delegates elections before lawmakers voted on the amendment. For this court to find the election was only on November 4th, 2025, which is, I guess, where they snuck it in, those 1 million Virginia voters would be completely disenfranchised. Good for him.
Yeah.
Follow the rules. It's your own rules.
Well, and just philosophically, this is what it's kind of a divide. It's not absolute, but I think Republicans tend to be more intent on following the rules than the Democratic Party.
Unless end justifies the means. And that's the appearance it's always had to be.
Exactly.
It always seems like, and I think it was Senator.
Yeah, we want certain results. We don't care how we get there.
Yeah, I forget which senator it was. It was Harry out of L.A. I mean, out of Las Vegas. When Romney, he went to the podium in the Senate and against.
They made claims that he wasn't paying his taxes.
Romney wasn't paying his taxes. Harry Reid, that's what it was. Harry Reid.
Nevada.
And he made claims he wasn't paying his taxes.
Yeah.
And Romney said, "Well, that's crazy." He says, "No, you're not paying your taxes. I've seen it and all that stuff."
Yeah.
And after the election, the taxes came forward, and somebody went to him and says, "Harry, you were wrong.
You lied to us."
Yeah, but we won, didn't we?
Exactly.
That's all mattered.
Yeah. Exactly.
All mattered is we won, and that's stuck with me.
Right. It's a good example of we don't care how we get there.
Right.
We want to get there.
Right.
Which is pretty Machiavellian.
Are you a Star Trek fan?
Well, not as much as I used to be.
I probably am. I still pick up. I mean, I have been picking up the new Star Trek shows on cable and stuff. I like them.
Yeah, I haven't, but I watched the old series pretty regularly, and
yeah. Oh, I loved it.
And then even some of the new series was pretty good.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
Voyager and all that stuff.
I just moved away from that as I found more interesting things to do with my time.
I never got old.
That's good for you. Good for you.
I never got old. But then this newest Star Trek just come out, just a week or two ago.
Yeah, yes.
And it was free, man. They put it out there free even. And it's the Star Trek, what's the name of it? Star Trek, Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, that's it. But didn't you say that it was really expensive to make?
$100 million.
Whoa, man, that's a lot of money.
Per show.
Even today, it's a lot of money.
It's like they really went all out on it. So I wanted to see it, even though it was getting lousy reviews. And the reviews were like, it's so woke, it's doing stuff. And I thought, how bad could it be? So I watched the first one and I was kind of surprised. I said, well, it's the first one. Maybe the next one they'll
get
better. I couldn't get through the whole thing.
Wow, that says a lot. You're pretty well self-disciplined.
I'm tolerant, and I just couldn't tolerate it anymore.
Wow. That's sad.
the whole-
When propaganda is so heavy-handed, it becomes ineffective.
Gosh, it was terribly heavy-handed. And it was
I might have
just,
to look.
it was, I would, I guess I'd bet money that you couldn't sit through the first two.
Well, could you give an example of something that was really heavy-handed?
Well, at the very beginning, it just starts off as a trial where, these guys had killed a officer to get food or something. I don't know. And one guy sent to prison, and the lady that was with the guy made a deal to turn him in and all that, and that she was going to get, some opportunities
Amnesty or whatever.
to stay with her son. She had his 9-year-old son or 10-year-old son
Whatever.
or something. And, well, they said, well, no, you have to go to this colony, but you can't take your son. So it was like, you lied to me type stuff, and
So whatever, the authorities are bad.
so she ends up going away. He sneaks out, knows how to hack the computers to get out of the building at 10, and he's not heard from for 15 years, whatever. But it shows him as an adult later. But the whole premise was the captain that did the court trial said, she was so guilt ridden about separating a child from her mother that she quit Starfleet and turned in her bid as being a Starfleet captain, and turned in her and went to the civilian world because she was so distraught that she separated a mother from her child. A criminal mother that got someone killed.
Yeah. But that claimed that she had a deal, and then
She had a deal, but it wasn't one like it was. But so she quit, and that theme kept coming up about separating a child.
So this is trying to somehow give this idea that
Yes.
Trump does this and he's evil.
And then it was all DEI stuff. I mean, there were people on the bridge. It's a military show. It's a military bridge,
right?
And whichever one looks military fit.
They wear uniforms.
They
They take
and all that.
orders. There's a definite chain of command.
Well, this was all wokey and overweight and the Klingons, which were always known as the warrior tribe.
Right.
Well, they had a Klingon in it, but he swore an oath to never have violence, and he only likes watching birds. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
So it's like this is where we put everybody that doesn't fit elsewhere in society.
Yeah. It was just
kind of.
But those are just small examples. It was just tremendously ridiculously woke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's one thing. I don't remember in the original Star Trek in many episodes that they ever had people who weren't fit.
Well, yeah, with
They
some
look-
exceptions of some alien race that had a different biology. or
whatever. I
something,
mean, yeah,
but-
okay, but I mean, the crew, even the ones that routinely get killed off because they're crew number 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
we're all fit young people.
But they added
very
somebody.
seldom they had anybody. Even the captain looked like he was
They
in
added
his
like a-
30s or 40s.
They added a DEI person to the bridge that made sure everybody was comfortable with everything.
Oh, and all their pronouns were right.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and it was just, I've had enough of it. I got through part of the second one, and I think I should be congratulated.
Yeah,
on
that
making
you waited that far. Okay.
for making it that far,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was ridiculous. I can't believe they spent money on it. So
100 million. Holy,
yeah, so
that's a lot.
I got an article here that there's a Star Trek actress that's complaining about all the negativity, and they're getting what they call ratioed, where they're out on social media and stuff,
Right.
and they're getting tons more negatives than thumbs up, and that doesn't happen to get ratioed like that very often. But they're getting spanked. Stephen Miller also accused the franchise of banning its core audience.
Well, that's what seems to have happened.
Um,
I mean, we've had other examples of this.
Yeah. Now, Gina Yasher, who plays one of the characters, goes on one of the Bill Maher show and says, all the hatred coming at us from fragile, angry white men talking about either our non-whiteness or our bodies, which they have white guys on there. I didn't know that it was a white thing. but because it's aliens, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It's aliens. So all of a sudden, it's just about race. It's actually, according to her, from what I'm gathering, she thinks it's the best show ever, and we just hate it because we're stuck in our whiteness.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess this is just her saying society is wrong and I'm right.
It's
everybody else is wrong.
Right. She says it's frankly ridiculous, and it makes me want to learn to lean even more into our wokeness. Okay, go ahead, lay it into it, baby.
But it's costing a lot of money. I don't think they're going to keep it up.
You're going to do it without an audience.
Yeah, if you don't get an audience, how do you get paid?
Wow.
I guess she wants it. Does she say anything that maybe the federal government should subsidize this?
No, please
well,
don't.
good for her.
Not. I hope not. But they're all, explaining their sexuality and stuff, and explaining why I was practically born wearing a tool belt. But if you could choose your sexuality, why would we choose men? They're that angry about the ratings being terrible on this show and the condemnation that it's so.
Well, I was listening to somebody and they were saying that it was Victor Davis Hanson. He said the problem with being selected for a prime job, we get paid a lot of money, and as a DEI hire, is you constantly have to invoke DEI to justify your position there.
Yeah.
You just constantly have to say, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. And that doesn't work well for accomplishing things.
Well, there's Gina Yasher on the show. The term woke comes up. Yeah, she repeatedly, but it has been coming up, and she's referred to herself as a space lesbian. We wokey woke, super woke, wokest of the woke. Repeatedly embraced the show's woke label. She defended the franchise on CNN, saying Star Trek has been woke from day one. Woke is a good word. It's been even it's been given negative connotations, but woke just means you're awake and awake of everything that's going on around the world. No, it's not. Not to me.
Well, she's trying to put her label on it and say that's what it's supposed to mean. And if you think she's different, you're wrong.
She's taking charge of the vocabulary and definitions thereof. Because she's wokey woke.
Yeah.
It's by self-described wokey woke. I deleted it from my list of to come up as a suggestion, even to watch it.
Oh, okay.
I said, don't even bring this back to me. This is wokey woke.
And it's not good. I mean, either.
Oh no, it's horrible.
It's not worth watching.
I'll be back. AM 516.
There's a man in D.C.
The seasonal mild weather continues. We'll get into the low 80s starting this weekend. Today, partly cloudy and 76. North winds at 10 to 15, 55 tonight. For tomorrow, partly cloudy and 78. Windy again, clear and 51 tomorrow night. And then Friday, sunshine and 80.
Are you looking for a new car? Well, we don't have it. How about a new cell phone? Don't have that either. At Firearms Unknown, we don't mix what we don't know with what we do know. We know firearms, knives, and ammo. So, if you know what you want, or even if you don't, Firearms Unknown can get you what you need. We have rifle, pistol, and shotgun deals starting at $9.99 for all three. Deals on guns and ammo, and the largest knife section around, with the knowledge to set you up right. Firearms Unknown. 801 West 32nd Street or firearmsunknown.com. Now you know.
Listen to KBLU from 8 to 9 every Monday morning. Life, Death, and the Law. Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Learn how you can plan your estate using a will or trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. on 560 KBLU.
Don't take a knee like the cowards do on the TV. Remember the soldiers that died for you, fighting for the red, white, and blue. So get on that drum train, ride battle with him. He'll stand up for you, and the red, white, and blue. Yeah, get on that train and slay.
AM 560 KBL. You, Russ Clark, back with you. Dean's here. Glad to be here. It's Wednesday morning, 8:39. I just got a call from my daughter. My granddaughter has a sore throat and can't stop coughing, so school's going to have me go pick her up. But I'll finish the show first.
Okay.
And then I'll go get the granddaughter. Maybe we'll spend the day together.
Yeah, but that is exposing you.
I can't get sick. I'm too mean. I'm too
okay.
mean to be sick. I just sent you. I threw that paper on your desk so you can see the pictures. Trump has put out some designs for his Independence Arc. Now, the Independence Arc is supposed to be ready for the celebration that's going on in D.C. for the 250th anniversary of the Constitution.
Man, that's fast. I mean, this is a big thing. It looks like
It's enormous, and it's going to be made out of like stone.
whoa. So
Like,
it's a permanent thing.
yeah, it's going to be forever. It's a forever thing, which is going to make the left very happy that Trump is building a ballroom and this. And this is going to be because they received so much money for the for that ballroom. They're taking the excess money and building this.
Wow.
It's beautiful though.
It reminds me of the Arc de Triomphe in
That's
France.
that's intentional.
Okay.
That's intentional. Now there's 3 different designs. They're all look exactly the same, just with different ornamentation.
Well, right.
Um,
The statutory, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite's the one on the far left, and you can't tell it by looking at the picture, but that's all gold. I mean, all the ornaments are in gold, which
Oh, okay.
Typical Trump. I mean, that'll make you think about Trump. He likes gold. Put a lot
He
of gold,
does.
and put a lot of gold in the white in the in there. But I don't know how he's going to get it done in time.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, this is a big thing. You don't build these overnight.
Now, it's going to be built on the opposite side of the Arlington Memorial Bridge from the Lincoln Memorial. So it's going to be very close to the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Now, Lincoln Memorial is a big building.
Right.
This arc is taller.
Yeah. I mean, you see some people in front of it to give a little bit of scale.
Now,
that's huge.
He's talking about building this in just a few months. I
think-
just don't see how it's possible.
I think you could maybe fly a small plane through there.
Well, you see in the artist rendition, people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you'd have to turn the plane on its side.
Maybe a biplane or a helicopter.
It's a very small wingspan. If it's
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I think it's interesting as all get out, and I think that it's fun to see the left vibrate over that. And it looks like an arc that's something about power or something, not wokeness.
Well, it's really a pretty simple design.
It's nicknamed the Arc de Trump.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in addition to the National Mall. It would likely need approval from the National Capital Planning Commission.
Yeah.
But and the U.S. Commission of Fine Arts, 12-member planning commission is stacked with Trump's loyalists, so I don't think that'll be a problem.
Well, I mean, the 250th anniversary is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, but Trump fired all 6 members of the Fine Arts Commission, replaced them. The White House not said how much it would cost. Trump said that it's going to use private dollars to pay for it. So I'm all for it.
I mean,
And
I wonder what the internal structure is. It's not going to be solid.
You would think not. I don't know, but it's going to be to celebrate independence, the 250th anniversary of independence, called the Independence Arc.
Right.
I don't know how they can finish it in time.
Trump has pulled off amazing construction feats before.
The statues up front, it says they don't appear to be the likeness of Trump. Yeah, that would have caused a problem. If that was done.
Yeah, there's 3 versions.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the one without the statutory.
Just the plain?
Yeah, that's mine.
I want it gaudied up with the statues and the gold.
Just difference in taste, I guess.
Well, I just want it to be offensive.
Maybe they could all be
Or
those statutories could be of Trump's children or something.
I
If we're going to go that route,
don't know, but
I would think if you're going to put any statues, you put the founders in there. Like Jefferson, Franklin.
but
Adams.
maybe they are. I have no idea what they are. These are artist renditions, so we don't really know. And then there's no time though. I mean, if you're going to start construction in a couple months and have it done by the 4th of July, how could that happen?
I don't know. With money and a lot of
I mean, Trump
energy.
did miracles working on the White House. I don't think a lot of people know that, but before he took over the office, he had like plumbing, electricity, everything replaced, and he did it with his own crews, working 24 hours a day, round the clock, 3 shifts.
Yeah,
and just nonstop, got it done.
Right.
I bet that would have taken years.
Well, exactly, and we know this can be done if you put a high priority on time and you make it happen. And if he's using something other than taxpayer money, if he's using contributions, you don't fit into all of the constraints that taxpayer money has. So,
knowing Trump, they probably already have the stone cut.
Well, I'm wondering now, maybe.
But on the ballroom, they're already building pieces of the ballroom all over the world. I mean, he's hired, like, for the chandeliers, people in some, I don't remember what country, that are famous for their crystal.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
they started working on it immediately.
Yeah, maybe Italy.
So that the inventory is all ready to put up by the time it's done.
Right. So and this is,
but that's somebody that's been in construction, knows what they're doing.
That's right. And it's sort of like what Musk is attempting to do with his construction of Teslas. Have several lines, all independent of each other, and it all comes together as a finished product at the end instead of having just one line.
Right.
So you have parallel processes all going on together.
But he's been having things manufactured already, like bulletproof glass and all that kind of stuff. Some of that glass is 30 foot tall, and it's got to be bulletproof, bomb-proof. That thing is going to be a bomb shelter.
Whew.
The foundation that they're laying now has some kind of special concrete with Kevlar and stuff in it to be bomb-proof, bulletproof, and even be able to carry more weight than what is already designed, because they don't know what's going to be added to it in the future.
Yeah, okay.
And the weight on it is apparently immense because of the bulletproof and the glass being thick and all that it's going to be tremendously heavy. So they needed a foundation that's going to be particularly solid. And so they had some special concrete made. I mean, there's some documentaries on it already on what they're doing, on what it's going to look like and all that stuff. But
it's just,
it's amazing how fast it's going.
I was going to say the ability of President Trump to organize things and to find people and put them in charge so that he can have 75 different plates in the air all at once, and it keeps working.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
They're a part of the ballroom, and of course it's going to be set up to have massive dinners and stuff like that, banquets.
Right.
There's a part of the ballroom which is elevated and looks down on the rest of the floor, and that's where the president and dignitaries would be sitting. That's behind bulletproof glass, even from the rest of it. And so you can have 600, 700, 800 people in there dining, but they're at an elevated location above it. It's amazing to see it. It's on YouTube to go look at it. I would like to be invited to dinner over there, but I don't know what my chances are.
Well, George is in D.C. Maybe he can wrangle something out.
We'll see. I'm sure the investors will get a chance to go.
I would think so. That'd be.
I need to talk to one of the investors and have them invite me.
There you go.
That's it. The anti-border patrol riot backfired. We talked a little bit about it, and that's the one where they got together and attacked a hotel.
Yes.
In fact, they were breaking windows and attacking the signs, breaking the signs at the hotel, because they saw that or suspected there was border patrol inside, including some of the leadership was supposed to be inside. And it was in Maple Grove, Minnesota, Spring Hill Suites by Marriott. And they thought Bovino was staying there. They called and the cops came. Now, this is a new thing to have cops come.
Right. Because they'd been told by the mayor and the governor to.
But this is after the
stand
phone
up.
call.
Right. Exactly.
Phone call from, well, they arrested the agitators because they began damaging property, throwing objects at officers, allegedly did not leave once an unlawful assembly and dispersal order was issued. According to the police, the Maple Grove Police Department respects and upholds the First Amendment rights of individuals. They got to put that in there because we're still pro-anti-Trump or anti-ICE, to peacefully assemble and express their views. Our priority remains the safety and security of all residents, visitors, and property within our communities.
Well, okay, but this is not in Minneapolis then. It's in Maple Grove.
Which is, I don't know how far out.
But what I'm saying is it's not controlled by Mayor Frey.
Well, no, but I think it's still controlled by Waltz in their in some of his
Maybe. I mean, usually
look,
a governor's control over police is not as clear.
But they say that at that point, activity was no longer considered peaceful. Individuals participating in criminal acts are not protected under the First Amendment and were subject to arrest. 13 people arrested by police protesting in a hotel, but they went through them, but I don't think they give the list here, but there was a list of other forces. State police came.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the whole thing. So it had to have Waltz.
Yeah, I was going to say if state police came, then it definitely had to be with
Maple
permission.
Grove did not do this on their own.
Okay.
Maple Grove was the leader, but other police forces came in, and other agencies, including state police.
Yeah. Okay.
Came in and
That's
swarmed,
more
and they
positive.
swarmed the state. That happened in Minnesota.
Yeah. Positive.
So some of the, and they listed some of these guys that got arrested, and all of them are committed rioters. Justin Neil Shelton, he has charges dating back to 2007, where he pleaded guilty to charge of first-degree aggravated robbery. After prosecutors said he beat up a pregnant woman and another individual while they were trying to steal her car. Apparently, the pregnant woman complained, so they stomped her, and the fetus was not harmed. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Now he's working for anti-ICE people.
Yeah,
probably on the payroll. They say felons can't get jobs.
Well, they have skills, I guess.
Yeah, skill sets.
Yeah.
In 2020, he was also convicted of possessing a firearm or ammunition after committing a violent crime. Others, Abraham Nelson Coleman, 45. Previously, Coleman had been convicted of the following crimes since 2003: theft, felony theft, damage to property, theft. I guess those are his favorites.
Well,
because he keeps redoing them.
Yeah, I mean that might be his specialty.
Some of them don't have. I mean, they just starting their arrest, records. 24-year-old Jalen Marie Rodriguez, charges of riot. She's at the University of Minnesota Law School. How does that? Is it good to have charges of riot when you want to be a lawyer?
Well,
I don't
there
know.
are people who show their arrest records from the Vietnam era protest as a badge of honor.
Some of them would be. She has a BA in sociology at the Manchester College and was a cultural programming coordinator at the Latinx Student Union and program assistant to the Litad Suzuki Center for Social Justice.
Yeah.
I would label her as woke.
I think so.
Yeah. Renee Alston, 21 years old, charges of riot, resident of Minneapolis. She wrote Disrupt, Disturb, Resist on her Instagram biography. That's one of her most recent Instagram stories has nationwide shutdown on J 3rd. No work, no school, no shopping. Another one, restaurant riot. She's accused of committee members of being complicit in genocide in Israel in September. On her Instagram video on Monday night showing her with agitators calling the police response a military operation. But it goes on as the woke credentialing. They'll stay employed on the woke side.
I suspect they'll be bonded out pretty quickly.
I don't know. It showed them all in orange jumpsuits.
Yeah.
And this is in Minneapolis. I mean, not
Yeah,
Minneapolis, but Minnesota.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, they haven't really perp walked to people like that,
No, generally not. So,
let alone call in all the backup. Like
right.
state police came.
Yeah. So something positive there, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think the result of this are a few things. Waltz is going to get disowned by the left
I wondered about that. Yeah.
as being a traitor, and I've been reading a few things about that. If people have written that Waltz is a traitor.
You know, his credentials are pretty good.
Waltz.
Yeah. I mean, he took his honeymoon in China, I think, and
Yeah.
taught over there. I mean,
Lied about being in Tiananmen Square.
you know, all this stuff. I mean, he's been pretty far left for a long time.
Yeah. Tampon Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his credentials.
But apparently, maybe it's not enough.
But
now.
something drastic changed, even with Omar. You know, talking about 800 ICE agents.
Yeah, we love our
leaving,
police.
and we're working with police. We love our police. Who the heck is this girl? Something's changing drastically. These people are looking for cover.
Well, I haven't seen her being disowned yet, so we'll see what happens there.
I don't know. Lindsey Graham, and at times I'm hot and cold on Lindsey Graham.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's our Republican senator out of South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's defending Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Advisor, and Stephen Miller.
Well, I like both of them.
Yeah.
I think they said some inappropriate words.
They misspoke, I think.
Yeah.
But he's going to task with fellow senators, fellow Republican senators like Tom Tillis, who's been criticizing the both of them,
right,
for labeling U.S. citizens killed by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis as domestic terrorists.
Yeah, I think it was unwise to do that. And I'm not sure if both of them said that.
I think there's a case to be made that they were involved in some terroristic activity, maybe, but I don't know if it goes that far.
Sure. I mean,
but some sensitivity is needed at this point.
At this point, I think you're correct. Exactly.
You know,
Good word.
It's an unfortunate situation, and they were doing things that is illegal, unacceptable, putting people in danger. There's no doubt. The fact that they got killed, I think we need to be a little more sensitive.
Right.
At this point, there's nothing to gain by piling on.
Well, and instead of the word I would use is that they were victims of the woke mind virus.
I think so. I think they were shuffled into action, thinking there's no harm, it's acceptable to do what
and that it was necessary, and they're battling evil. I think that's what they thought.
Tillis was the first Senate Republican to call for Noem to be fired after the killing of Alex Preedy. And Tom Tillis says what she's done in Minnesota should be disqualifying. She should be out of a job. It's just amateurish. It's terrible. It's making the president look bad on policy that he won on. And President Donald Trump won on a strong message on immigration. Now, nobody's talking about that. We're talking about incompetence of the leader of Homeland Security. I'm not talking about incompetence.
Right.
I don't know that it was incompetence.
Well, I think, maybe he's still living in the era where the New York Times mattered.
Maybe. I don't think it was incompetence.
I think her words were inappropriate, but that's as far as I'd go.
Tillis says that Noem and Miller told the president before they even had an incident report whatsoever that the person who died was a terrorist. This is amateur hour at its worst. I don't disagree. You shouldn't say that. I don't know how amateuristic it is, but
I just don't know if it's true.
Look, there's a lot of passion running out there on both sides.
Yes, correct.
There are, and believe me, if you want to list all the things that shouldn't be said, it's not just Republicans on the list.
Right, absolutely.
And I don't think they were that egregious to say you need to be, you need to lose your job over it.
I think hopefully what they both will learn is to take a little more time.
Yeah, and I think Tillis should take a little more time too.
Yeah, I agree.
The
whole much of what we need in this country is to just be more measured in what we do instead of snap reactions to an emotional context.
Yep. Yeah. And I know guys calling here all the time trying to pin me down on some extreme stuff, and I won't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. It's just not good for me. I want everyone to be able to call in
Yeah.
You know, I'm a conservative and I stand by those values, but I'm not wanting to attack everybody that a lot of my callers want to attack.
We don't want Civil War rhetoric because we don't want a civil war.
No.
And we want to preserve the republic. And to do that, we have to preserve the rule of law.
Graham kind of sums up, says, to my Republican colleagues, you need to understand that the president's confidence in Stephen Miller has been rock solid and unshakable, and Miller is part of that group. And he says, you know, you're not going to unseat that, so why are we causing all this aggravation? With that, I ran out of time again. It just happens every day. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks so much, Dean.
You're welcome.
AM 560.
There's a man in D.C.